He was a total Gen Z kid. Yet he followed his master to cultivate immortality. But let us be real. He caused more trouble than he ever studied. Always glued to his phone watching TikTok thoughts with huge personalities. Shake their asses. His master chewed him out for it constantly. But it was his passion. You could punch him in the face. And he would still keep scrolling. He even had the nerve to ask his master, "Why have not you ascended yet?" Talk about a sick burn. He would read his master's books. But when he tried the ritual himself, he got a Zest guide to another world. A golden finger system. An ancient bloodline. He got jack squat. For 12 years. He has had to work like a dog just to survive. He was so over it. Great Fortune Calendar. Year 1452. Dragon Prefecture. Galeotti? At the ford. A furious shout echoed. A burly man. His face a mask of pure rage. Violently kicked a young boy out the door. A torrent of vile insults poured from his mouth. Each word a venomous dart. The reason for this explosion of fury was painfully simple. Liu Yan had the audacity to secretly learn his wok and cooking skills, a secret technique the man had spent years of blood, sweat, and tears to master. The powerful kick sent Li Yan sprawling onto the cold stone floor. The firewood in his arms scattering everywhere. He scrambled to his knees. His soot-stained face instantly morphing into a pathetic picture of remorse. Head chef, I was wrong. I will never do it again. I swear, fatty ton. The man in question let out a sigh. A mix of frustration and helplessness. He knew this kid's act all too well. Here we go again. He muttered. Then grabbing a wooden ladle, he rained down blow after blow on Liu Yan's head, leaving the boy to do nothing but shield himself and cry out in pain. I was really wrong. Please, just let me go. After venting all his anger on Li Yan, Fatty Tongue crossed his arms and scanned the line of people standing obediently nearby. His voice boomed with steel. Pick up the pace. The masters in the front courtyard are about to wake up. If their breakfast is late, you will get a lot more than just a few kicks. With that, he pointed to another young man diligently carrying wood past them. And you all should learn from Nu Kuai. The man learned the standing posture yesterday. Stood all night long. And look how sharp he is already. You are all a bunch of useless trash. The entire group bowed in unison. Murmuring. Yep, sir. Only Li, with his gaunt face, clutched a few small logs. His steps heavy and faltering. He risked a glance behind him, only to feel a shiver run down his spine as Fatty Ton's knife-like gaze locked onto him. The man menacingly raised the wooden ladle again. Are you deaf or something? Get a move on. Do you still want to eat or not? At the mention of food, Liu Yan flinched and could only meekly reply, Yep, sir. Before scurrying away, arriving at his destination, he dropped the firewood onto the cold, hard ground. Liu Yan wiped the sweat from his cheek, letting out a weary sigh as he mumbled to himself. Tomorrow is my big day. He pressed his lips together, swallowing all the pent-up frustration and telling himself he just had to endure for now. Time passed, and the next day, at noon, Liu Yan went to collect his wages. The man handing him the string of coins did not forget a warning. A total of 30 coins. Be back before sunset. If you sleep outside overnight, it will count as 2 days off. With a simple Liu Yan casually strolled out, looking completely carefree. After being transmigrated here for over a month, he could finally escape this suffocating forge. He walked down a street he had not seen in a long time, his eyes filled with a mixture of excitement and curiosity. While wandering through the bustling market, Liu Yan's mind was still fixated on the talisman receiving ritual from the ancient Taoist text. The ritual required 5 animals. Meat was too expensive, so he decided to substitute it with the blood of 5 animals, figuring it probably would not be an issue. After all, ancient civilizations used blood sacrifices all the time. He was also careful to follow the imperial court's decree. Buffaloes were strictly off limits. The court's law was clear. Killing a buffalo meant 100 lashes, a year and a half in prison, and exile for 1,000 miles. Liu Yan listed out other animals: deer, goat, elk, wolf, and rabbit. He decided to use a rabbit instead of a buffalo, as long as it still aligned with the 5 elements. After half a day of searching, he finally managed to get half a jin each of pig's blood, goat's blood, chicken's blood, and rabbit's blood. After spending 26 coins on the ingredients, he was left with a measly 4 coins. Liu Yan trudged through the streets, sighing warily. Why is blood so damn expensive? If this does not work, I will be eating dirt next month. As he passed a small tavern called Ziyu Chang, he suddenly heard a commotion from a nearby crowd. Someone was shouting about a guy named Sun who had caught a horned spirit fish in Jadewater Lake. Another person shot back skeptically. You think that kid has that kind of skill? Didn't that thug Liu smash his boat to bits? Haven't heard of anyone catching a spirit fish in a year or two. Just to give you some context. This spirit fish they were talking about is a legendary tonic. Catching just one could set up a normal family to live comfortably for 2 to 3 years. A tall man stood in the center of the crowd, his voice dripping with arrogance. This hornfish tail alone weighs 12 jin. If you can't afford it, do not even bother getting close. Someone gasped in shock at the weight. A 12 jin hornfish. Immediately, people started clamoring to buy it. I will take 12 taels worth. Only Liuan silently slipped past the noisy crowd, a bitter thought crossing his mind. A man with a mere 30 win, 3 years of apprenticeship just to earn 1 tael of silver. Yet a single fish is worth 12 taels. Turns out a man is not even worth as much as a fish. He walked towards a dark, narrow alley, relying on his memory. According to the original owner's memories, this was the way home. Just as Li Weian knocked twice, a loud voice called out from outside. Third brother. You are back. A cheerful man walked over and pulled him inside by the arm. Li Weian was a bit startled and blurted out. Second brother. La Lam. However, just kept pulling him along as he opened the gate. Come on. Let us talk inside. He bent down slightly, rolled up his sleeves, and asked caringly, have you eaten yet? Go rest in your room first. Let your big bro cook something for you. Your sister-in-law is out working. She will be back later. Li Weian watched La Lam's retreating figure, silently relieved that his brother did not drag him into a long trip down memory lane. He was left standing alone in the small courtyard. Li Weian looked around, checking the situation. This is the place. After confirming no one was around, he began pouring the tubes of animal blood onto the ground. As he poured it into a predetermined shape, Li Weian chanted, 4 directions. 5 beasts. After a moment, a complete yin-yang formation drawn in blood lay at his feet. He would memorize the formation's structure countless times recently, so drawing it was a piece of cake. No more delays. Let us get this show on the road. Li Weian solemnly clasped his hands and began to pray. Disciple Lian, having read the 100 classics and achieved a clear mind, with a heart dedicated to saving the world, I vow to spread the sacred teachings of our predecessors. He chanted with utmost sincerity. Disciple Lian beseeches the heavens to bestow upon me the talisman. But no matter how many times he repeated the prayer, absolutely nothing changed. Li Weian was so exhausted that sweat poured down his face, dripping to the ground. It is not working. Could it be that the ancestors know I have not fully understood the 100 classics? He seemed to have expected this, showing little surprise. Just as I thought. There is no such thing as receiving a talisman and becoming an immortal. In his mind, Li Weian was completely crushed. My money. Suddenly, a strange, piercing sound rang out, enveloping the entire space around him. The sound was so loud, so dizzying, that Li Weian could not bear it and collapsed to his knees. From the misty clouds behind him, he felt a pair of blood-red eyes staring daggers at him, radiating danger and death. Li Weian clutched his arms, groaning in pain. I can't hear. I really can't hear anything. He was now surrounded by swirling magical chains. With a pitch-black phantom closing in from behind, Li Weian felt his soul being ripped from his body. His eyes went blank, and an invisible pressure crushed him, making it impossible to move or resist. Soon after, he could not take it anymore and collapsed, losing consciousness completely. It was not until a hazy light shone down that Li Weian slowly opened his eyes again. The sound of crashing waves roared in his ears as ethereal tides swelled before him. The waves lifted him into the air, and darkness suddenly swallowed his surroundings. He tilted his head to look, and his whole body recoiled in utter shock. The waves from before had transformed into an ancient calligraphy scroll. Li Weian quickly recognized that this was the very talisman he so desperately sought. Countless blacking strokes swirled towards him, surrounding his levitating body. They all rushed at Li Weian at once, as if trying to invade the very core of his being. But the next second, Li Weian was suddenly plummeting into a bottomless, endless black hole. In the middle of the blood-splattered yin-yang formation, his body felt like every joint was being broken, contorting into an unrecognizable shape. A transparent system panel suddenly appeared before his eyes, displaying the words, First Talisman Transmission in Progress. The scene abruptly shifted back to the courtyard of Li Lam's house. A terrifyingly silent atmosphere descended as he saw Li Weian lying motionless on the ground, showing no signs of life. A wave of pure terror washed over him, and the chopsticks in Li Lam's hand clattered to the floor. Overcoming his panic, he rushed forward, his heart pounding in his chest. He quickly lifted Li Weian, shaking him and calling out with a trembling voice. Third brother. Third brother. What is wrong with you? Wake up. At the same time, La Lam's wife also ran out in a panic, her eyes wide with worry. Wait. What has happened to third brother? Just as the two of them were drowning in utter confusion, Luan's eyes slowly flutter open, seeing the worried faces of his brother and sister-in-law. He immediately reassured them. Brother, sister-in-law, I am. The confirmation that Li Ayan was safe made Li Lam breathe a huge sigh of relief. A heavy weight lifted from his shoulders. It is good that you are okay. You scared me to death. Suddenly, a thought flashed in Li Ayan's mind. He quickly announced his decision. I need to go back to the forge. Seeing how exhausted he looked, Li Lam tried to persuade him in a caring tone. Come home and rest for a few days first. You must be exhausted. But Li Ayan remained firm. I am really okay. Just then, a sudden notification from the system appeared before his eyes, capturing his full attention. What is this? On the screen, strange lines of information appeared. First talisman transmission. Soldier's record. Rank 1 Soldier Master. Li Ayan. Number of controlled weapons. This sight made him jump, his eyes widening in surprise. Damn. The ancestor system really is ahead of its time. In the moment Li Ayan was still trying to process this, he was transported to another vast space. Countless pieces of information flooded his mind, feeling like knowledge that had been ingrained in his subconscious for ages. An intense, unprecedented urge suddenly rose within him, compelling him to swing a blade and practice his moves. The system continued to display another notification. Rank 1 Soldier Master. Offerings. 1,000 Jin of Iron, 100 taels of white silver, 1 tael of gold. Can then be promoted to rank 2 Soldier Master. This made Li Ayan ponder. Alright. So the ancestor system knows how to fleece its users. Not wanting to waste any more time, he quickly stepped outside. You two just carry on with your work. I will be back in a few days. Although he still felt incredibly tired, he told himself, gotta make some money. Li Lam still followed him with worried eyes. Are you really okay? But Li Ayan did not seem to care much about his own health as he continued to stride out. It is nothing. Really. A few days ago, Guard Tan taught me a new technique. So I just overdid it with my training. No need to see me out. I am fine. A clear plan was already forming in his head. Before making money, I need to see what this hack from the ancestor can actually do. The scene quickly shifted to the central courtyard of the barracks. Looking at the maces lying silently on the ground, Li Ayan could not help but think in surprise. An iron hammer is still iron. Right. From behind, a commotion caught his attention. Noticing all the apprentices gathering there, Li Ayan guessed. Looks like another class is about to start. At that moment, Tan Hung stood at the front, loudly reciting the teachings. The White Apes flying wind mace has both internal and external parts. The inside is the handle. The outside is the mace head. There are 3 internal harmonies and 3 external harmonies. When all 6 harmonies flow as one, you will achieve grand completion. His movements were incredibly swift, allowing him to dart from one side to the other with just a single touch from him. Nu Kuai cried out in pain. Witnessing the boy's weakness, Tan Hung sternly lectured. Unstable stance. Powerless strikes. With that, he continued to correct the apprentice's various postures. The White Ape's flying wind mace is the fundamental martial art that has been passed down in our forge for over 200 years. The technique is divided into 4 levels. Entry, Proficient, Minor Completion, and Grand Completion. If you want to enter the inner courtyard, you must master this martial art to the entry level before the year ends. Although Nu Kuai looked like he was about to burst into tears from the pain, Li Ayan, watching this scene, also winced. Man, that looks like it hurts. Tan Hung's powerful voice continued to ring out. Raise your maces. Unfortunately, at that moment, Li Ayan accidentally bumped into another apprentice. Suddenly, a system notification appeared right in front of him. 8 Jin training mace unranked. This is the training weapon used by martial apprentices at the fortress to practice the White Ape's flying wind mace. It is soaked in the blood and tears of hundreds of apprentices. Control requirement: none. Effect: none. Master the flying wind mace technique. Upon grasping, the weapon will disappear. Following the system's instructions, a satisfied smile finally appeared on Li Ayan's face. No wonder that old geezer was so obsessed with talisman transmission. I have not even really held the weapon, and I can already feel the difference. He calmed himself down. Relax. With so many people here, one mace disappearing won't be a big deal. Right. On the other side, Tan Hung continued to demonstrate his masterful technique for the apprentices. Power originates from the ground, rooted in the feet, controlled by the waist, passing through the shoulders and arms, and manifesting in the wrist. White Ape presents its back. White Ape. This is just like Sinjiquan from my past life. After finishing his demonstration, he sternly instructed. It may seem simple, but reaching the entry level is very difficult. Remember what you learned today. It will be enough for you to work with. Some of you have good aptitude. But your foundations are too weak to practice effectively. At that moment, Fatty, with a sycophantic expression, walked over holding a cup of tea. Brother Tan, which one did you say has good aptitude? Tan Hung just replied coolly. A few of the kids who are down on their luck. Hearing this, Fatty happily offered. Brother Tan, let me see you out. Then, he turned and barked at the apprentices below. Train hard for me. And do not you dare slack off. If you do, I won't be so polite. Only when he saw Tan Hung nod in satisfaction did a goofy smile spread across Fatty's face, witnessing Fatty's little performance. Liuan could not help but think with disdain. Something's really off about that Fatty's gaze. A long time passed, and Lian was exhausted to his core. He thought to himself, I can't stand any more. After a long day of training, he and the other apprentices could barely stay on their feet. It seemed simple, but it drained their stamina unexpectedly. This body's foundation is just too weak. Liuan stood there, trying to stretch and sighing as he looked at the other apprentices. The other apprentices are training better. Most of them are still holding on. In the central courtyard, only Nukwai remained. At the same time, Nukwai on the other side secretly glanced towards Lian. That brat is out of gas too. In the end, he became even more smug as he looked at himself. In the central courtyard, I am still number one. As night fell, Liuan entered the storeroom, looking at the iron maces and pondering. There are dozens of maces here. If one goes missing, no one will notice. Right. Does the gray system notification unranked mean it is not a tiered item? His face grew incredibly pensive as he secretly assessed the various weapons stored here. All 43 training maces are low-grade weapons. But there are still differences between them. Most of them, after being used, only have an entry-level enchantment. Only about a dozen are at the proficient level, but he seemed to cherish the weapon he was holding. This one has the darkest color. Even though they are all proficient level, this might be the best of the bunch. This is the one. After choosing his weapon, Liuan rushed outside. He held the mace, threw it forward, and uttered the command. Control. Seeing the golden light emanating from the mace, his face turned grim. A mace that big just vanished into thin air. This is insane. When Liuan opened his eyes again, he was in a vast, open space. This platform is way too small. At most, it can only hold a few items. Without hesitation, he quickly raised the mace forward. The space seemed to change distinctly because of his action. Suddenly, a sharp headache hit him, making Liuan jump in fear. Again, the scene shifted deep into his mind, where different sounds echoed continuously. Train, 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 damn. It can even do this. He calmly looked at the characters clearly displayed in his mind. Stance, tailbone, arms, eyes, and ears. So this technique has this many details. Time passed until the next morning. When the rooster's crow broke the silence of the night, Nukwai warily got up and opened the door to step outside. I overdid it with training yesterday. Even after a full night's sleep, my back hurts even more. Seeing Liuan suddenly appear in this place left him utterly confused. Nukwai's expression changed, and he immediately shouted, When did you wake up? Did this brat sneak out in the middle of the night to train? Seeing his aggressive reaction, Liuan chuckled and explained clearly, I just woke up. Nukwai quickly moved closer to Liuan, questioning him further. Just woke up. The more he thought about it, the more it felt wrong. This kid is full of energy. Not like someone who stayed up all night training. I knew this skinny monkey would not dare to train secretly. Liuan stood right next to him, flashing a bright smile and nodding in agreement. Trying to sound me out. In your dreams. Time flew, and the sky turned to noon, with the sun shining down everywhere. Liuan and the others were still working diligently. As usual, he quickly stacked firewood in the warehouse and continued with his daily chores. Even though he had exhausted his energy all night, controlling his internal power was no longer as difficult as before. Feeling the stability in his body, Liuan continuously rotated his wrist, a clear flow of power making him excited. His eyes lit up with hope as he noticed his body gradually improving. Now this asterisk is true martial arts. I need to get into the inner courtyard quickly. That is the real training ground. At that moment, Yahello walked over, his voice echoing. Today, we will learn the flying wind mace. Everyone, pick up your maces. Get into a horse stance, and hold them. A sigh was heard. Horse stance again. I have not even eaten enough. Despite their fatigue, everyone had to nod in agreement. Yep, sir. Liuan slowly picked up the iron mace. His face set in concentration as he looked at the weapon. It is just an ordinary iron mace. But why do I feel like I have a blood connection to it? This feeling is amazing. Yahello continued his instruction. The mace stance technique combined with hard work. You think I am nagging? Do not you? In the middle of his passionate lecture, Nu Kuai suddenly asked. Brother Lu, how long does it take to reach the entry level for this technique? Yahello patiently explained. Someone with average aptitude, if they practice diligently for more than half a year, can reach the entry level. The person who entered a few years ago was personally taught by Master Tan. The flying wind has only 18 forms. Today, I will teach you the first form. Nu Kuai, come over here. You are first. Liu Yin listened from a distance, understanding everything. So that is how it is. Yahello continued to instruct Nu Kuai. Power generates from the ground, passes through the legs, goes through the waist, and reaches the wrist. Remember, the force should be like a continuous, strong wind. Nu Kuai nodded in understanding. I have got it. The people around them whispered. Has little Nu already reached the entry level? After a moment of thought, Liu Yin raised his mace high. Let us give it a try. As he brought it down, a powerful gust of wind blew past, stunning everyone. Yahello and Nu Kuai whipped their heads around to look. The scene shifted to a large hall, where Fatty's voice rang out. Come on. Brother Tan. Drink up. Tan Heng shook his head, refusing. No more. I am going to check on how those little brats are training. Fatty nodded in agreement. He then asked, by the way, Brother Tan, I heard we are opening a new shop in Chaplong Prefecture next year. Will Old Chang be stationed in the prefecture city from now on? Tan Heng looked annoyed. Who did you hear that from? Fatty gave a faint smile. Just a rumor. As long as the poison dragon is alive. How would Old Chang dare to leave Gaoliu City for so long? That man is the river-crossing poison dragon from Shenrong Valley. After all, he looked at Tan Heng with a cold gaze. Master Tan is right. It is just a rumor. If there are any changes in the shop, do not forget your little brother. Brother Tan. Tan Heng nodded in agreement. Tan Heng's gaze turned serious as he looked outside. That kid? Fatty asked. What is wrong? Tan Heng said. Lalam's little brother. Fatty scratched his head and confirmed. That is right. Tan Heng remarked. He can already execute 3 forms. Although his power is still lacking, his posture flows like water in clouds. He just started learning the mace technique. Yet he is more fluid than I was back in the day. This kid's talent is much higher than Nu Kuai's. He will be a great blacksmith in the future. Fatty became confused, pondering as he looked towards Li Yin. Did this kid offend Tan Heng somehow? The day turned to evening. Liu Yin sat in his room, looking at the maces on the table, when he noticed an old, shabby knife. It is too dark under there. I forgot about this wood-chopping knife. Picking up the knife, he examined it closely. Lowest of the low. Completely unranked. The system displayed a notification. Chipped wood-chopping knife unranked. Requirement for use. None. Effect. Grants entry-level wood-chopping knife technique. His stomach growled. Liu Yin told himself. Hungry again. All I do all day is work and train. This small body really can't handle having no meat. I need to make some money. Time to go out and get some meat. The silver my second brother gave me won't last long for food. I need to figure out a way to earn some cash. Unable to sit still, Liu Yin decided to go to the market to find something to eat. After buying his items, the vendor handed him a bag. Liu Yin's eyes were drawn to a knife stuck to the side. Hey. Can I take a look at your meat cleaver? The vendor quickly handed him the knife. The system displayed its information. Butcher's meat cleaver unranked. The bone-chopping knife the butcher has used for many years to cut meat has been severely worn down. Effect. Grants entry-level blade skill. Condition for use. None. Grants. Entry-level blade skill. Liu Yin's eyes lit up with anticipation. Can you sell this knife to me? The butcher asked in surprise. You want it? Liu Yin nodded firmly. 1 coin. On the way back, Liu Yin casually swung the knife, making the people around him nervous. He told himself, well, at least I have another weapon. Entering the mystical space, Liu Yin stared at the knife before him with indescribable excitement. The bone-cleaving blade replaces the training mace and is entered into the soldier's record. However, a strange feeling crept into his heart, making him wonder. Why do I feel like someone is stripping me naked? Without thinking further, he quickly grabbed the knife and lunged forward. Luckily, I still remember the mace technique and stance training, but my proficiency in the mace is gone. The feeling of training with a mace for decades has vanished, replaced by the familiar feeling of a veteran butcher. Thinking about this, he sighed warily. It seems changing weapons does not affect me too much, but I can't just switch whenever I want. I have to wait 2 days to change weapons once. The overwhelming number of things to worry about made Li Yin clutch his head and scream in frustration. Although the soldier's record platform can still hold a few more weapons, if I want to control more, I need to level up the soldier's record. The upgrade conditions are too harsh, And my Taoist master self is so poor after reincarnating. The night grew late. At this time, Fatty was still relaxing in a hot tub. Noticing Liwen was still outside, he called out loudly, "Come here. Add more hot water for me." Although he did not want to, Liwen could only nod and agree. Understood. After adding the hot water, Fatty smiled and praised him. "I heard you are not bad with the mace. What a pity. What a pity." Hearing this, Liwen became curious. "What is a pity?" Chef Tun. Fatty took a deep breath and explained. "I just discovered something. That Tan Hung fellow is skilled in martial arts and butchery, but what he is best at is chasing women." Hearing this, Liwen seemed to understand something. "He is telling me this because..." Fatty's voice became full of hidden meaning. "I heard he is keeping a girl from the new family in the new clan hamlet. She has a slender and beautiful figure." But Liwen's face was full of doubt. The new family. The more he thought, the more it felt wrong. Does this have something to do with New Kwai? While he was still pondering, Fatty leaned back and sighed. "Our forge has a renowned 200-year-old training program for apprentices. But logically, Tan Hung should not be the one teaching you martial arts." Liwen nodded in understanding, picking up the bucket of hot water. "So that is how it is." From inside the room, Fatty's voice rang out. "This time, each courtyard only has one spot for the inner courtyard. That is why, over a month ago, New Kwai was already in the central courtyard. Do you understand now?" Liwen had mostly grasped what he was saying. "Thank you for the guidance, head chef." Seeing him so obedient, he chuckled and shared more of his experience. "Aren't you disappointed? You clearly had the best performance. Yet you did not get into the inner courtyard. Don't you feel any resentment?" Liwen replied. "A little disappointed, but not much. As for resentment, that opportunity was never mine to begin with. So why should I be resentful? At least I learned some martial arts. Which is kind of interesting. But you are still wrong. Although the White Ape's flying wind mace is not the best martial art in the forge, how could I possibly teach it to you all so easily?" These words made him freeze for a moment. "Not teach it?" Fatty sighed and continued. "Of course. All the forms are taught. But for the stance training alone, even someone with the highest aptitude would need at least 3 years to reach the entry level." While Liwen was distracted, Fatty quickly turned and splashed hot water on him. He hurriedly wiped the water from his face, still not understanding what had happened. When the man gently placed a hand on his shoulder, "Your aptitude is of the middle-lower type. Your yang energy is a bit weak." Understanding his meaning, Liwen bowed his head. "Head chef, this disciple wants to learn your cooking skills." Although he was incredibly surprised inside. "I never expected this fatso to be so skilled in martial arts that he could be the head chef at the forge. Truly unexpected." Seeing his obedience, Fatty chuckled and added, "You little brat. You really know how to climb the ladder. Feeling that it is hard to make a living in the central courtyard. So you want to get something from my side?" "Ah." Liwen's eyes lit up as he confessed. "I can't hide it from you, sir. That is indeed the case. I know how to cook, and my blade skills are quite good. Please accept me." This made him feel that things were getting more interesting. "Is that true, or are you just saying that?" Liwen nodded firmly. To demonstrate for Fatty, Liwen took the meat cleaver, went to the garden, and pulled up a handful of scallions. His speed was swift, showcasing his masterful skill. Fatty praised him thoughtfully. "Not bad. Good. How many years have you been practicing your blade skills?" Liwen replied shyly. Reporting to the head chef, "I have been practicing for several years." Though inside, he thought, "In my past life, I served that old man, so blade skills and cooking were never a problem. Now with the butcher's bone chopping skill added, my blade technique is even more proficient." After finishing his demonstration, Liwen bowed his head. This disciple only needs food to eat. Everything else is at the head chef's discretion. Finding him interesting, he laughed with satisfaction. Suddenly, he picked up a mace from the corner of the room, looked at him, and said something cryptic. "You did not waste the silver your second brother gave you. And you worked hard yourself. All right. I am indeed in need of an assistant." Liwen was still confused. "Second brother. My brother gave this fatty money. Well, damn. If I had not taken the initiative, that money would have gone down the drain." Fatty turned to leave, tossing the mace to him. "Catch this mace. Raise it and hold your stance. The 18 mace forms you learned are real. You are just missing a few things. Today, I will teach you the white ape breathing method. I will demonstrate it for you once." Hearing this, Liwen's eyes lit up. He quickly ran after him, saying excitedly, "Thank you, head chef." The story continues. And several months have passed. The weather has turned cold. The scene shifts to a bustling street. Liwen is walking along the long road, carrying a bag of goods. After some time. It seems he has improved a lot since Fatty Tun taught him the white ape breathing method during this time. Not only has my food improved, but I have also maintained the breathing method while holding the stance and raising the mace. I should reach the entry level within a few days. Everything was going according to his plan. Because he had accidentally revealed his knack for numbers. All the purchasing for the central courtyard had fallen into his hands. On his way back, Lewin suddenly noticed an item. They even have shoes. The shoe sat quietly on the table. But there was only one. He found it strange. Boss, you can sell a torn shoe like this. The boss sighed and explained. It belongs to Liu the thug from the back street. I do not know where he found it, but he insisted on selling it to me. And there is only one. Tell me, what kind of situation is this? Li Wen picked up the shoe to examine it. You see? Looking at the information displayed on the system, he was stunned. A rank 1 shoe. Since I started working in the kitchen, I've been out 7 or 8 times. I have been to places like the Vinthin district and the Seugu ward and found many unranked weapons. So this is the first time I have seen something like this. Seeing that he liked the shoe, the vendor said happily. The shoe is good, but there is only one. And it is torn up like this. Only that dog Liu the thug. And he still demanded 1 silver coin from me. If you want it, you can take it for 1 silver. Lian sighed, tossing the shoe aside. 1 silver for a single shoe. Isn't that a bit expensive? Seeing this, the vendor quickly lowered the price. 1 silver. That is for others. But if Brotherly wants it, then 40 coins will do, of course. He still acted uninterested and started to walk away. If you keep talking like that, you can keep it for yourself. Seeing his customer about to leave, he quickly said, Wait, we can negotiate. After a moment of thought, Li Wen looked around. How about this? Master Tun told me to buy some spices. I was originally going to check out the Vinthin district, but I feel like the spices at your stall are also good. Left with no choice, the vendor proposed. Brother truly has a good eye. The spices here are top grade. How about this? You buy from my stall, and I will give you this shoe for free. Li Wen looked bored. Fine. But inside, he was indescribably happy. After some time, snow had covered the rooftops. Li Wen held the newly acquired shoe in his hand and rushed forward. He lifted the shoe, his eyes sparkling with joy, and quickly used his familiar skill. Looking at the items he had collected, he could not hide his excitement. My first rank 1 item. Today's trip has truly brought me immense joy. This shoe seems very powerful. But will having only one have any effect? At that moment, he decided to test it, feeling his speed increase. Li Wen stood still for a moment. Whatever. I will test it when I get home. For now, let us. His eyes lit up. He seemed to have realized that this was a real treasure. Rank 1 is truly top tier. I have to rank up right away. A rank 1 soldier's record can only control 1 weapon at a time. To switch, I have to wait 2 days. I have to rank up. I have to make money, but to rank up, I need 1,000 jin of refined iron, 100 taels of white silver, and 1 tael of gold. Even if I robbed someone, I could not get that much money. Just then, an announcement came from up ahead. Tuathoe is here. Li Wen's ears perked up, driven by curiosity. He quickly moved forward. Did Tuathoe catch another spirit fish? When he arrived, he saw a crowd of villagers surrounding Athai, chattering excitedly. I heard Tuathoe's parents died early, but he managed to master an incredible fishing skill. After catching 3 spirit fish in a row, not only did he rebuild his house, but he was also accepted into the Laihe Martial Arts Hall, one of the 3 great, renowned martial arts halls in the inner city. He slowly approached, observing the situation. Looking at the man before him, he smiled and offered, a red-browed fish. My luck is not bad. How much for this fish? I will buy the whole thing. Li Wen stood by and sighed. Spirit fish. Way out of my league. Only a rich guy like Tan Hung could afford that. Too bad I do not have the right weapon to catch one. Oh well. Guess I will have to pass. The snow was coming down harder now, but Lalam just kept on shoveling. Then, a familiar figure appeared, and his face lit up. Ein. You are back. Li Wen held out the food he would just bought. Second brother. I picked up these 2 lap fish for you on my way back. Lalam beamed with pride. Attaboy. Look at you. All strong and sturdy now. Let me cook these up for you. Perfect timing. Your sister-in-law just bought some fatty meat yesterday. Li Wen just grinned. I already ate. You think a kitchen assistant ever goes hungry? His brother's tone turned serious. The snow came early this year. I just finished making your winter clothes. They are by the bed. Go try them on. See if they fit. Li Wen was stunned. Second brother. Where did you get the money for winter clothes? He started doing the math in his head. A set like this is not cheap. Even with the worst fabric and some cotton padding, it has got to be over a tael of silver. That is half a year's worth of food for a normal family. Lalam quickly explained. Winter jobs pay pretty well. So I have made a decent bit these past few months. Plus, with your sister-in-law's wages, sewing a padded coat is nothing to worry about. But Liuan just shook his head. I can't take this. The workshop will give me a padded coat once winter officially starts. You should alter this one for sister-in-law to wear. She works so hard washing clothes for other families. But Lilam was not having it. He draped the coat over Leon anyway. An apprentice getting free clothes. I have never heard of such a thing. It is for you. So just wear it. Lalam ruffled his hair. You are still just a kid. Growing taller every month. Good thing your sister-in-law made it a size up. Or it would have been too tight. Luin fell silent, moved by his brother's actions. Suddenly, he had to ask. Second brother. Tell me the truth. Did you borrow money from someone? Lalam turned around. Surprised. Who told you? Was it that fatty? He sighed. I borrowed from Qian Bao down the street. It is a borrow 9. Payback 13, deal pretty standard interest. I told him I would pay it back before next winter. Our family may be poor, but we will always scrape something together for you. Liuan let out a helpless sigh. Second brother. You should not have borrowed money just for me. Just then, Lalam's wife appeared, startling him. Sister-in-law, she nodded knowingly. It was so cold that she was trembling, cupping her hands together, trying to find a little warmth. As she warmed her hands, she said, since you are here, just take the coat. It will save your brother another trip out in this weather. Who knows what kind of trouble he could run into? Luin was touched. Thank you, sister-in-law. Even though he still felt uneasy, he could not ignore it. His sister-in-law's hands were frozen stiff. Lalam quickly poured hot water into a basin. Here. Let me get some hot water for you to soak your hands. She nodded in thanks, realizing he could not stay any longer. Liuan turned to leave. Sister-in-law, I have already eaten, so I will be heading out now. Those 2 fish. Have second brother cook them for you. Lalam looked confused. At least stay and eat before you go. Seeing that he was already gone, Lalam sighed. That little brat. He sure runs fast. Outside, the snow was piling up. Liuan walked through the streets, his mind adrift in a sea of thoughts. He kept thinking about Qian Bao, a squad leader for the fish gang from his old neighborhood. And that phrase kept echoing in his head. Borrow 9. Payback 13. How could anyone call that fair? His second brother was a simple, honest man. But he was no pushover. He would survive the death of their parents and the disappearance of their eldest brother. He would shouldered everything alone, raising Lian all by himself. There was no way he could pay back a debt like that. Liuan wondered if a single good person existed among those loan sharks. He could only hope everything would turn out okay. But then a thought struck him. Wait a minute. I could borrow money from those loan sharks and use it to level up my martial arts proficiency fast. Why did not I think of this brilliant plan sooner? He stared at his clenched fist, his resolve hardening. First things first. I have to master the entry level of the white ape flying hammer technique. The better my skills, the more money I will make. Time passed. The night grew late, with a bright moon hanging high in the sky. Even in the dead of night, Liuan trained relentlessly. Fatty Sun had taught him the white ape breathing method from the manual, which had completely replaced his old technique. His white ape flying hammer had reached the great achievement stage, but Fatty Sun's breathing method still left him exhausted. He glanced at the system notification and decided to swap his 6 harmonies rope for the hammer training technique. He pulled out the massive hammer and raised it high. All those grueling hours of training were making him stronger, but they were also seriously disturbing the fatty's sleep. The fatty stomped outside, grumbling. What is all this racket? Is anyone supposed to get any sleep around here? But when he saw what was happening, he froze in his tracks. Liuan stood in the courtyard, lost in concentration. His senses had become incredibly sharp. He could even hear the blood flowing through his own veins. His eyes widened in shock and disbelief. Did it finally? A smile he had not worn in ages spread across his face. The manual said that when your blood QI is strong enough to channel into your palms, you have reached proficiency. When it reaches your arms, that is minor achievement and a great achievement. It flows through all 4 limbs. He felt a rush of power. Man, I am itching to try this hammer out on someone. This is what real martial arts feels like. Just then, the fatty suddenly called out. Wait. Ein Z. Come inside. Let us have a drink. The word startled Li Ian, who spun around. Chief Sun, but the fatty kept motioning him over. Well, what are you standing there for? Li Win felt a little uneasy. Wait. Did I hear him right? Once inside, the fatty quickly poured a drink. When you have your first breakthrough with blood QI, you have to drink some of this special wine. Liuan eyed the bowl suspiciously. Chief, what is this? The fatty was firm. Just drink. After Liuan downed the drink, the fatty's eyes gleamed with expectation. Your natural talent is only average. Yet you have already reached the entry level. Your brother must be feeding you more than just the white ape technique. Giving you lots of supplements. Liuan nodded. My brother is very good to me. But inwardly, he thought, if I had not shown a knack for the hammer from the very beginning, this sudden breakthrough would have definitely made Fatty's son suspicious. The fatty continued. That is some brotherly love to be jealous of. Your brother did not waste his money on you. To be honest, that spot to advance from the middle to the inner courtyard, it should have been yours. Liuan was getting more and more confused. But is not that spot already reserved for new guy? The fatty looked at him, surprised. What? You do not want to get into the inner courtyard? You scared of pissing off Tan Hung? Liuan sighed and quickly replied. How would I dare offend Master Tan? He knew perfectly well that Tan Hung was not someone to mess with. Tan Hung mastered the flying hammer technique years ago. His internal energy is on a whole other level no ordinary guard can compare. I heard the shops already decided to make him the new head of the guards. A position right under the 3 managers. All he needs now is a breakthrough in his internal power. While Liuan was lost in thought, the fatty continued. So what if you piss him off? Our workshop has been around for over 200 years. We have rules. Even if he becomes the head, he can't just do whatever he wants. This sudden change of tune left Liuan speechless. He muttered to himself. Weren't you the one kissing Tan Hung's ass just a while ago? While Liuan was still processing this, the fatty's gaze fell on him, almost as if he were sizing him up. You are a well-read kid. You should understand. Some things might have your name on them. But if you do not fight for them, you will never truly own them. Scholars are poor. Warriors are rich. With a background like yours, who is going to back you? Even if you have mastered the basics. How far do you really think you can go? You are right, Liuan said, a little flustered. As if sensing his turmoil, the fatty poured another drink. Whether you fight for it or not, that is up to you. I just see a little talent in you. So I thought I would mention it. If you are not interested, that is fine too. Liuan understood what he was trying to say. Yep. Thank you for the advice, Chief. Hours passed. The fatty was now fast asleep, completely oblivious in the biting cold. Liuan quietly opened the door and stepped outside. After a few more cups of that wine, he was fired up. Did it? I finally reached the entry level. After drinking that medicinal wine, I have to strike while the iron is hot. His spirit soaring, he decided to continue his training through the night, hammer in hand. He focused with all his might. A warm current of blood flowed through his entire body. It felt like sinking into a warm bath. An incredible sense of relaxation washing over him. He even took a short nap to recover his strength. After about 6 hours, he woke up naturally, feeling completely energized. The fatigue was gone, and his mind was sharper than ever. Liuan had been training hard. According to the manual, the sign of reaching proficiency was stacking 8 hammer images. But he had managed to stack 11. The next morning, New Guy opened his door and was shocked to see Liuan already training intensely. Liuan, up this early again? He lied to my face, saying he was not practicing. But he is out here every single day. What a sneaky little bastard. He could not take it anymore. New Guy yelled out. Liuan. While Liuan was still confused, New Guy strode up to him. Hey. I want to spar with you. A wave of doubt hit New Guy. Wait, why am I so nervous? But Liuan could not have cared less. Not interested. This sent New Guy into a rage. Just then, the fatty yelled out. Someone's here to see you. Liuan started walking over. New Guy sneered behind his back. He turned me down. He is definitely scared. Yeah. That has got to be it. Liuan asked the fatty. Is my second brother here again? The fatty shook his head. Not your brother. It is the authorities. He eyed Liuan suspiciously. You have not been up to anything. Have you? Good. Liuan was confused. The authorities. A man stepped forward and announced. My name is Qda. I am here under orders to investigate a murder. I have some questions for you. Those words made Liuan freeze. A murder. His mind raced. Don't tell me something happened to my brother. Qda continued. You will answer my questions. And you will not hide anything. Reluctantly, Liuan nodded. Yep, sir. Qda began his questioning. Around noon, the day before yesterday, you were at the fish market. Did you see a spice vendor by the name of Liu San? Liuan quickly replied. Yep. My lord. I did buy some spices from his stall that day. Qda's eyes narrowed. Just spices. Luan nodded.
Yep.
But in his head, he was thinking, what a load of crap. The 6 Harmony shoes were a gift. I did not buy them. That is the honest truth. So it is not a lie. Kyuda stared at Leoyan judgmentally. Is that? Seeing things were getting tense. The fatty stepped in. I sent him to buy those things. I have a record of everything he spent. Right down to the last coin. He would not dare try to cheat me. Hearing this, Kyuda turned to leave. All right. I am done here. Carry on. I have one more house to check. As the 2 officials left, Li Weian and the fatty bowed. Take care, sirs. Tan Hung watched from a distance. Surprised. Fatty Sun actually stuck his neck out for Li Ayan after they were gone. The fatty sighed. The Kyuda is a stubborn bastard. He is good with his fists. But he is just a street patrolman. His great uncle. Hugh Long. On the other hand, now he is a big deal. I was just telling the truth. If you really are mixed up in a murder, that has got nothing to do with me. Luwin was moved. Chief. I swear. I have absolutely nothing to do with this. The fatty nodded. Good. Keep it that way. Luan's mind was already racing. The Great Yun Empire was founded on martial arts. The culture is fierce. And the laws are even fiercer. If you are caught for murder, they do not wait for autumn to execute you, they do it on the spot. Meanwhile, the fatty was still muttering to himself. Luchuda's entire family of 6. Plus 5 of his neighbors. All killed by the same person. I suspect it was Suashua who killed Lu Chuda. But why would he kill a simple street vendor too? Hearing those numbers, Liuan whipped around. He killed over a dozen people. This is a serial murder case. But Suashui did not seem like the type to do something like that. The fatty continued with what he knew. Aside from gang fights, Galyu County has not seen a civilian massacre this brutal in years. You have not been out, so you do not know. But the inner city is on lockdown. You should stay away from the shop for a while. That son of a bitch must have gone completely insane. Killing an innocent vendor who had nothing to do with it. Hearing this, Liuan froze for a second. Could it be? Because of the 6 Harmony shoes. Lu Chudo sold those shoes to the vendor. Could it really be such a coincidence? He tried to piece it together. Killing over a dozen people for a pair of raggedy old shoes. Is it really worth it? No good. I have to get a message to my brother. I am not going home until the killer is caught. I also have to warn him and my sister-in-law to lock their doors and windows tight. While Leon was racking his brain, the fatty suddenly shouted. Hey. What are you just standing there for? Get back to work. Leon quickly ran towards the fatty. Coming. On the other side, Hugh Da had also noticed something. That kid is hiding something. Hearing this, Tan Hung suggested, if Inspector Yu is suspicious, you can just arrest him and take him to the county office. Hugh Da sighed in response. Without evidence, I can't just arrest people randomly. A man beside him quickly chimed in with flattery. Inspector Q is so righteous. By the way, are you heading to the Lai Martial Arts Hall? Wang Luan is not an easy person to deal with. Hugh Da said as he walked. So what if it is the Lai Martial Arts Hall? No matter how skilled Wang Luan is, how does he compare to my great uncle? The Great Yun Empire was founded on martial arts. If the imperial court could not suppress these criminals, the world would have descended into chaos long ago. This information surprised the other man. Really? I heard that Suashui is incredibly talented. In less than half a year, he has already reached the minor achievement stage in the Lai free fighting technique. Wang Luan is apparently preparing to send him to Divine Weapon Valley. If Inspector Q wants to catch him, you would better get there soon. Hugh Dai was taken aback. Divine Weapon Valley. From behind, Tan Hung let out a chuckle. It is true that the Great Yun was founded on martial arts. But there is another part to that saying. With that, he turned and headed back to his post. It is the martial sects that rule the world. Meanwhile, the authorities were still frantically searching for Suashui. He was fuming. A tiger gets bullied by dogs when it leaves the mountain. Looking at the man before him, Ashua's rage grew. The bastard not only stripped me of my clothes, but he even took my shoes. Unforgivable. He attacked without mercy. Even though the man was already beaten to a pulp, Ashui did not hold back. Can't kill him just yet. Though, if he is dead, I won't have any more food. Hugh Long. Wang Luan. Cao Yan. Wang Zhenlin. His eyes filled with utter contempt. Just wait until I have recovered. I will make you all wish you were dead. Just then, a door creaked open, catching Ashui's attention. He glanced into the distance, his anger flaring up again. You dare take my things? As night fell, Li Weian huddled in a corner, thinking quietly. Could these shoes be hiding some kind of secret? He examined the shoe in his hand. Doesn't look like anything special. The moment he touched it, the sole came loose. startling him. When he peeled back the sole, Li Yuan's eyes widened in surprise when he saw something hidden inside. He quickly brought the shoe closer to inspect it. The Pingdadasha hammer. It is a martial arts manual. After reading it carefully, Li Yuan realized the gravity of the situation. Who the hell hides a martial arts manual in the sole of a shoe? Pingdadasha hammer. Let us. Please do not tell me I have to castrate myself for this. A secret martial art of Divine Weapon Valley. Ranked 18th on the Zilong Prefecture's list of superior martial arts. He quickly memorized the information written on the sole. A superior martial art. A secret of Divine Weapon Valley. I wonder if the White Ape Flying Hammer is a mid-tier or low-tier art by comparison. So it seems Lu Chuta's group was killed over these 6 Harmonies boots. The more he thought about it, the more uneasy he felt. The killer must know the boots ended up with me. He is probably already watching me. Damn it. My luck and my misfortune both decided to show up at my door at the same time and go big. At that moment, the system displayed information before Li Yuan's eyes. After reading the text, he could not help but sigh. No military strategy. No killing techniques. Only a third of it is left, though it was a bit of a shame. It was only one shoe, which at most held half the pages. It is just the striking techniques. Of the 72 paths, you have to master at least one hammer path to be considered at the entry level, but this one hammer path has 81 different variations. He sat warily in the corner of the room and sighed. Why is it another hammer technique? But it is ranked first among the 5 great secret arts of Divine Weapon Valley. Despite this, Li Yuan refused to give up. He stood up with determination. I am being watched. I have no other choice. I have to master it. Master it all the way. He recalled what he knew about the situation. The lockdown in Galyu County will only last until 2 months before the new year. Whether Magistrate Lu Yongqing likes it or not, he will have to lift the curfew and switch to a covert search. Outside, the snow fell even thicker. Ashui held out his blood-stained hands, his anger boiling. He stood up and cursed. How can a small county like this have so many internal energy masters? Divine Weapon Valley truly lives up to its name as the #1 sect in Zilong. The 5 Jade Poison Saber. Blade Master Wang Chen. He muttered, taking stock of his injuries. That blade strike nearly killed me. I have to get out of here. Ashui reached for a skeleton lying in the corner of the house, decisively taking its coat and leaving the bones behind. The man whined. The snow is so heavy. I really do not want to go out. A cold wind blew past, making him shiver and huddle up. The thought of getting up early in this weather made him tired. Training non-stop even when the ground is frozen solid. That is some serious dedication. New guy was still training tirelessly in the courtyard. After a while, he slowly set his hammer down, his eyes filled with anticipation. I have reached the entry level. His words sparked a buzz among the others. Brother New. You reached the entry level. Brother New is amazing. When will I ever get there? I am so jealous. The praise kept coming for Nuga. Nuga will definitely get into the inner sect. Don't forget about us when you do. Of course. New guy is in a different league from that other guy. Despite the praise, he was not entirely happy. He has been gone for over 2 months now. He could not have reached the entry level too. Could he? No. Probably not. He might be smart. But my brother-in-law never taught him the breathing technique. Besides, his family is dirt poor. The snow fell thicker and thicker. Remembering something, Nuga reminded everyone. Get back to work. Master Sun is about to wake up. He thought to himself. I should spend less time with these guys from now on. They are clearly low class. No connection to me. Remembering the good news, New guy started walking. I have to tell my brother-in-law about my breakthrough right away. As he passed Li Yuan's house, he suddenly stopped. I wonder what Li Yuan is up to. I will just take a peek. Driven by curiosity, he quickly approached. The door was not shut tight. The sight before him made New guy freeze in place. A snowman-like figure holding a hammer slammed into his vision. Worried, New guy burst through the door. Did Li Yuan freeze to death? While he was still confused, a golden light suddenly erupted. Li Yuan's power had become overwhelmingly strong as he continued to train without stopping. The cold wind that blew past made New guy freeze for a moment. Thinking about Li Yuan's current strength, he could not believe it. What is happening? The person in front of him seemed to have transformed into a completely different Li Yuan. Sensing the time was right, Li Yuan raised his hammer high. The more New guy thought, the more suspicious he became. Has Li Yuan already reached proficiency in the White Ape Flying Hammer? No way. I can't let this go. He bolted out of there like his life depended on it. I have to tell my brother-in-law immediately. Meanwhile, Li Yuan was still calculating. If I just keep training with one hammer, I do not think I can improve much. But if I stack 2 of them, Would not that make me as strong as someone at the minor achievement stage? The fatty stormed out of the house, shouting, "You little brat. You owe me a tail of silver." Sensing trouble, Liuan quickly turned around. "Honorable Chief, please, could you lend this humble disciple a little?" Before he could finish, he was met with a cold shout. "Get lost." Liuan looked at him with hopeful eyes, insisting, "This disciple swears he will pay it all back." Seeing his proactive request, the fatty smirked and decided, "If it were not for your lightning-fast progress, I would not lend you a single coin. Spit it out. How much this time?" His face filled with anticipation. Liuan held out his hand. 13 taels. Hearing that, the fatty was so furious he was speechless. "You give an inch, and you take a mile." Suddenly remembering something, Liuan quickly brought a cup of hot water to the fatty. "Right. Chief, have you heard anything about the commotion in the city these past few days? I heard there was a huge fight." The fatty recounted what he knew. The night before last, the Grand Manager hosted a banquet for Wang Luan, the master of the Lai Martial Arts Hall. When everyone was drunk, someone burst into the shop and viciously attacked Master Wang, nearly killing him. The Grand Manager was furious. He captured the attacker and threw him in the great prison. Hearing this, Liuan was stunned and asked again. The Grand Manager caught the attacker. The fatty nodded, adding, "Luckily, the Grand Manager intervened in time, so Master Wang is fine." Unfortunately, his disciple was seriously injured. As they were talking, Tan Heng walked in and ordered, "Liuan, come with me for a moment." "Yep, sir." Liuan obeyed, immediately nodding in agreement, observing Tan Heng's demeanor. He thought, Tan Heng looks way more muscular than he did 3 months ago. It is like he has grown to be 2 meters tall. After they met in a private space, Tan Heng spoke up. "Do you know why I called you here? I am sure you have already guessed." Liuan nodded. This disciple understands. Tan Heng praised him endlessly. "Your white ape hammer stance is perfect. Your blood kai circulates throughout your entire body. Your talent is truly remarkable." Liuan quickly replied, "It is all thanks to Master Tan's excellent teaching." This statement slightly surprised Tan Heng. "Excellent teaching. Although your aptitude is not as good as Niu Gu's, you are perfectly suited for the white ape flying hammer. At this rate, the spot from the middle courtyard is definitely yours. But I have already promised someone else. This time, I must get Niu Gu into the inner courtyard. Do you have any objections?" Liuan quickly bowed his head. This disciple would not dare. Tan Heng looked at him with a judgmental gaze. "Wouldn't dare, but that does not mean you do not have any." After a moment of silence, he continued, "Previously, the exam for the inner courtyard was held once every 3 years. But now it is once a year. At your pace, you will definitely get into the middle courtyard next year. You may go." After hearing this, Liuan could only reply obediently, "Yep, sir." As he walked out, Liuan thought warily, "Next year. This year I had connections. But who knows what will happen next year." In another corner, Niu Gu said sadly, "Brother-in-law, I will wait another year to enter the inner courtyard." Liuan, "He is stronger than me." Tan Heng glanced at him. "Wait another year." Students enter the middle courtyard from the outer courtyard. The service courtyard leads to the rear courtyard. And every other courtyard has someone pulling strings for them. Do you know why? It is because you have to get into the inner courtyard this year. If you wait another year, it will be too late. Niu Gu still did not understand. Tan Heng continued to explain. Next spring, Divine Weapon Valley will open its immortal gate. The shop spent a fortune to get this opportunity. At this time next year, at the latest, the inner sect disciples will have to set off for Zhilong Prefecture. If you wait another year, the immortal gate of Divine Weapon Valley will be closed. His face grew serious as he pulled something out from his clothes. When Divine Weapon Valley recruits disciples, the most important thing is aptitude. Liuan's aptitude is only mid to low. He would not even pass the first hurdle. Your talent is upper mid, and you progress quickly. If you can join Divine Weapon Valley, it will be the greatest opportunity of your life." With that, Tan Heng tossed the item he was holding to Niu Gu. Niu Gu trembled as he asked, "Divine Weapon Valley, can I really get in?" Tan Heng reminded him, "Train hard. Don't disappoint me." Niu Gu nodded frantically. "Yep, yep." As Liuan walked out of the house, he muttered to himself, Tan Heng must have had a breakthrough with his internal energy. If that is true, he is definitely going to be the next head of the guard team. I wonder if Fatty's son will be able to handle it. Looking at the bag in his hand, he told himself, Fatty's son has been good to me. I can't let him down. I will go for a walk today and see if I can find any entry-level enchanted weapons. When he saw the contestants carrying all sorts of weapons, he could not help but marvel. No wonder the annual Galliu County tournament attracts so many enchanted weapons. Too bad none of them are mine. Suddenly, Liuan noticed a vendor sitting by the roadside. He walked over and asked, "Old sir, how much for this sickle?" Looking closely at the item, he thought, the blade is over 30 centimeters long. This does not look like any farm tool I have ever seen. The vendor looked at the weapon in his hand and shook his head. "You want to buy this sickle? It is my prized possession. It has been with me my whole life. I can't bear to sell it." A little boy standing beside him whispered, "Grandpa, why are you keeping such a rusty old sickle?" Curious, Liuan reached out. "Old sir, may I hold it for a moment?" The vendor nodded and handed him the sickle. "Be careful. It may be old, but the blade is still very sharp." The moment he held the sickle, Liuan immediately knew. It is an enchanted weapon. The system displayed the details. 3 Curses Army sickle, forged from high-grade Schwan iron, tempered in 18 flames. The previous owner used it to drink the blood of his enemies and harvest crops for 100 years. The blade has worn down, but a spiritual anomaly has been born within it. Requirement: proficiency in any standing stance technique. Effect: great achievement in horse chopping sickle technique. Proficiency in long-handled weapons. Liuan's eyes lit up. This is way better than the 6 Harmony shoes. Not only does it give me great achievement in a sickle technique, but also, while he was still marveling, the system continued its notification. Proficiency in long-handled weapons. The long-handled sickle is extremely difficult to learn, even for the talented. Only through the original owner's effort and dedication was this spiritual anomaly born. Liuan could not hide his joy. "I have struck gold." He quickly made an offer. "I want to buy this sickle. I will give you 3 taels." The vendor was shocked. 3 taels. That is so much. Liuan nodded. "Yep." It just caught my eye. After buying the sickle, Liuan went into a small alley. He held up the sickle and said, "Equip." Looking at the items he had collected, he calculated, "I am already proficient with the flying hammer, so the training hammer is not very useful anymore. This sickle is the perfect replacement." He raised the sickle high, and bolts of lightning struck the ground. The sight was a real eye-opener for Liuan. However, when he returned to reality, he suddenly collapsed, his nose bleeding uncontrollably. Looking at the item, he thought, "This is insane. I have hit the jackpot." The 13 forms of the horse-chopping sickle technique. Created from nothing and mastered to great achievement. This is truly top tier. Clenching his fist, Liuan's eyes filled with determination. Proficiency in the flying hammer. Great achievement in the sickle technique. A piece of the Beidao Dasha hammer. Plus proficiency in long-handled weapons. Can I defeat Tan Hung now? In the fatty's large house, the sound of arguing echoed endlessly. "I am working myself to death to pay off your debts. And you go and borrow more. Sooner or later, you 2 brothers will both be thrown into Lake Bixui to feed the turtles. I do not get why Qian Bao is demanding the money back now. It is not even due yet." Liuan stepped outside, holding a staff in his hand. After testing its sturdiness, he nodded. This should be good enough. Without wasting any time, he continued his practice. "Qian Bao. Is it? So this is what proficiency with long-handled weapons feels like. If those thugs dare to make the first move, I won't hesitate to strike back." A triumphant smile finally appeared on Liuan's lips after scouting the area. He quickly climbed onto the roof of a large building and removed a tile to check the situation below. Seeing that everything was clear, he slowly sat down and listened. Inside, 3 men were drunkenly chatting. "It is just old Zhou Huang's woman. I do not know what the boss is thinking. If you want her, just tie her up and have some fun. You think that coward Lam would dare report it to the authorities? You do not know, do you? Before the boss made it big, his whole family worked for the Li family. Back then, all he could do was watch her get married off to someone else. Alright. Enough talk. That woman might be feisty, but she is a looker. Qian Bao was a servant for my family, and he dares to have eyes for my sister-in-law. I finally get a rare break to come home, and you people have to ruin it. Tell me, do not you deserve to die?" After eating and drinking their fill, they hastily stood up, ready for the main event. "I can't take it anymore. I gotta go take care of business. I am coming with you." Despite the freezing cold, both of them opened their coats, ready for action. Liuan watched the scene and just shook his head. "So disgusting. It is burning my eyes." Without hesitation, he leaped down with his staff, charging straight at the 2 men. With a single strike, both of them were down. Thinking about what they were about to do, Liuan felt sick. He pinched his nose. "These 2 scumbags took 1 hit from my staff. They have definitely got a serious concussion." Another man rushed out from the house. "Old Q. Wang Yao. Where are you guys? Did you fall into a cesspit?" Li Wen did not hesitate, knocking the man down with his staff. Go eat. Hearing the noise outside, the remaining men rushed out. Who is there? What is going on? Seeing the scene before them, they fell silent. They pulled out their weapons to face Li Wen. You dare come here and cause trouble. He was not afraid of this mob. With just a few basic moves, all of them were on the ground, looking at the weaklings lying all over the cold ground. Li Wen sneered. I have not even taken out my hammer yet. You are all down after just one hit from a staff. With skills this pathetic, you dare to be thugs. The leader, furious, gritted his teeth and turned to curse at him. Who are you to sneak attack me? Seeing that he was still conscious, Li Wen raised his staff and, without hesitation, swung it down hard. He cried out in pain and finally collapsed to the ground. Damn it. The more he thought, the more disgusted Li Wen became, repeatedly striking his body. You scumbag. You're crazy. Worthless ass. So disgusting. Just die. Feeling it was not enough, he even kicked him, sending him flying. He lay there, looking as pitiful as a soulless corpse. Remembering the kick, Li Wen felt proud. My leg strength is not half bad. But now's not the time to be smug. I have to get to the main task. He quickly rushed inside, searching every nook and cranny. After a while, he found the hidden stash. Exclaiming happily. Found it. 10 boxes. He looked at the ice and, without hesitation, tore them into 100 pieces. So you are the one lending money at high interest rates. Ah. Immediately after, Li Wen was overjoyed. Stuffing all the gold and silver into his bag, he mused to himself. Isn't this just the ill-gotten gains of criminals? I am merely carrying out justice on behalf of heaven. I will reluctantly take it. Without a second thought, he quickly hid the treasure and walked out leisurely. As he recalled what had just happened, his face grew thoughtful. I did not say a word, and I covered my face. I definitely did not leave any traces. My actions were just self-defense. It is their fault for provoking me. He turned to look at the group of men, his voice cold. I am warning you this one time. The only reason I am not killing you is because I still have a conscience. Don't let me see you again. The leader lay motionless, trembling with fear. He had lost all his wealth and was beaten to a pulp. Li Wen smiled. For the next 6 months at least. This damn fatty won't dare to cause any more trouble. It feels so good to be a good person. Suddenly, a snowflake fell, landing on his nose. Li Wen looked up at the sky, a gentle smile playing on his lips. He believed that good things were coming. A heavy snowfall signals a bountiful harvest. I am about to ascend. Back at his residence, Li Wen was once again training tirelessly. He told himself, martial arts are easy to learn but hard to master. It is not just about the forms, but also about blood kai. And blood kai comes from physical conditioning, without medicinal supplements. It would take at least 5 years of hard training. But with them, given my current aptitude, I only need 1 year. This is the meaning of poor scholars. Rich warriors. As he was concentrating, the fatty suddenly threw a strange bag at him. All right. Stop training, he ordered. Take this. The medicinal herbs you need. I got them for you. This is my silver. Good. Don't disappoint me. Li Wen was filled with hope. Chief, I will definitely pay back your silver. Very soon, the fatty sighed. Like hell you will. Going from proficiency to minor achievement, then reaching a superior aptitude. Even with medicinal support. That should take a year. Before he could finish, Li Wen declared decisively. I will definitely be faster. Hearing this, the fatty felt somewhat reassured. He turned to go back inside, but did not forget to add a threat. The new year is in 2 days. Right, but you are better off staying at the shop. I heard the Chai Ingu district is a total mess. Some gang got beaten to a pulp by someone. If you absolutely have to go, make sure you are back by the morning of the 2nd day of the new year. If you miss the inner court exam, I swear I will sell you to get my money back. Li Wen grinned and nodded enthusiastically. Yeah. Sorry. He thought to himself. I was the one who beat them up. On his way back to Li Lam, Li Wen asked. Second brother. Did Qian Bao's parents used to work for our family? His brother shook his head and explained. That was Tan Heng. He is on good terms with our family. He was the one who told me the weaponsmith was hiring apprentices. Li Wen was shocked. Tan Heng. He quickly shoved a piece of food into his mouth. So he is the one targeting my brother and sister-in-law. In that case, there is no way I am missing this inner court exam. Worn out by everything that had happened, he drained the cup of wine in his hand and slammed it on the table. This inner court, yours truly has it in the bag. Entering his mystical space and looking over his loot, Li Wen thought. Just 58 more transformations until I master the Bin Dao Du She Mace technique. Now that I have money, I need to find a way to get some refined iron and gold to upgrade the Master Armament Registry. Once taking out Tan Hung with 2 weapons at once will be a piece of cake. Tan Hung stood frozen, stunned by the scene before him. Nu Kuai rushed over to report. Brother-in-law. Constable Q says they are still investigating the culprit. Also, rumor has it that after a few days of recovery, Suishui has left the Laihe Martial Arts Hall. The more Tan Hung thought about it, the more something felt wrong. No one's seen him for days, and his wounds have not healed yet. Could he be the culprit? The lake is frozen over. He is alone and injured. How could he possibly recover? Disappearing all of a sudden. Did he go fishing? I can't believe this. Remembering something more important, Tan Hung turned and reminded him. Nu Kuai, 2 months ago, I gave you the exam questions for the inner court assessment. I hope you won't let me down. Nu Kuai's voice trembled. Brother-in-law, I definitely won't disappoint you. The next morning, Dongjin village was bustling with people. Liuan was surprised to see the lavishly dressed man in front of him. Don't tell me Vong Kong, the third son of the third steward, is also here for the exam. The fatty beside him put a hand on his shoulder, whispering. Vong Kong. Tu Yumin, the chief's youngest daughter, and a few others will temporarily join the inner city clans. They won't take your spots. So relax. Liuan was startled. Talk about pulling some strings. The fatty continued. What you need to worry about is the third event of this year's inner court exam. It has become a real headache. Knowing the road ahead would be tough for Liuan. The fatty grew more concerned. In previous years, the 3 events were stance training, mace techniques, and physical strength. But this year they changed it to innate potential. And your innate potential is a bit of a problem. Liuan sank into thought. Could Tan Hung have already pulled some strings? While he was pondering, the fatty smiled with his arms crossed. Anyway, just give it your all. Don't hold back. Otherwise, you will regret it for the rest of your life. And do not think I am worried about you not paying me back. Liuan nodded. Understood. Shopkeeper, I will not fail to meet your expectations. Time passed, and all the candidates had gathered. Up above, the masters observed in silence. Among them were the 3 examiners. Cao Diam, the grand steward of Changsing. Duong Dong, the second steward, and Vong Dun, the third steward. After a brief silence, Cao Diam spoke up. Kuin Shang, you will announce the rules. Kuin Shang nodded. Understood. He stepped before the candidates and declared. Our prestigious workshop has been passed down for 237 years. To carry on the family legacy, we established the inner court, selecting only the most gifted apprentices. Each month, you will receive a silver stipend, be exempt from all menial labor, and have the chance to learn directly from our masters. Each court will select at least 1 person, and every single candidate will receive a month's salary. Remember the generosity of the family head. The candidates all nodded in unison. Understood. Kun Shang's voice boomed. Anyone who possesses the white ape flying phoenix marrow, step forward. But when he saw Liuan step up, Kun Shang was taken aback. I made it crystal clear to him. So why does he still dare to show himself? Left with no choice. He continued. Not so. First, we must test your foundation. Only those with a strong enough foundation may proceed. Since you have stepped forward, you must be tested. If your potential is poor, you will not be allowed to enter. Immediately, heavy blocks of iron were brought out. Muscular young men set them on the ground. Tan Hung announced. 1 for each of you. Use your mace to strike the iron block and demonstrate your skills for the stewards. Liuan silently picked up a mace. Bracing himself, Liuan raised the mace high into the air without a moment's hesitation. He swung the weapon down with all his might. The powerful strike left Tan Hung and the examiners speechless for a second, forcing them to exclaim. Could his white ape flying peak mace have reached the minor accomplishment stage? Kadaim's face showed clear satisfaction with Liuan's outstanding performance. After he finished his demonstration, Duong Dong could not sit still, jumping to his feet and slamming the table, his face a mask of astonishment. Minor accomplishment, Cao Diam. Beside him, added. It is not just minor accomplishment. Even though his vital energy is lacking, his technique has reached this level, and he has even grasped the external 3 harmonies. Seeing Tan Hung blocking his view, Vong Dun roared. Tan Hung, get out of the way. Stop standing there like a statue. Startled, Tan Hung trembled and stepped aside, muttering to himself. Impossible. I checked his constitution myself. Below average. Yet he reached minor accomplishment in just 4 months. Even someone with a supreme-grade constitution would struggle to do that. Meanwhile, Li Weiyan continued his performance for all to see. Bursting with pride, the fatty exclaimed, "Incredible." Li Weiyan looked smugly at the mace in his hand, thinking, with just a little more practice, my white ape flying peak mace technique will definitely reach minor accomplishment. Just then, the mace in his hand suddenly slipped from his grasp, flying straight towards Nu Kuai. "Watch out!" Li Weiyan yelled in alarm. In that critical instant, Tan Heng lunged forward like a lightning bolt, decisively grabbing the mace handle and preventing the accident just in time. Everyone was stunned by Tan Heng's insanely powerful display. Li Weiyan shot a smug grin at Tan Heng, thinking, "Didn't see that coming. Did you, Tan Heng? Turns out I am not just some pushover." Observing the entire situation from above, Duong Dong stepped forward and asked, "After just 4 months of apprenticeship, you have not only grasped the external 3 harmonies, but have also trained your mace technique to near minor accomplishment. Very good. Good. What is your name?" Before Li Weiyan could answer, the fatty quickly cut in. "Li Yuan. His name is Li Yan. I am the one who taught him his breathing technique." After a moment of thought, he continued his praise. "Grand Steward, this kid's talent is off the charts, and his potential is not bad either. He might just be number 1 in this assessment." Intrigued by the praise, Kadaim asked, "Third Steward, what are your thoughts?" After a moment of silence, Vong Din spoke. "His talent is indeed astonishing, but the inner court is crowded, and the second steward can hardly split himself. Guard Tan, you will take charge of his training." Hearing this, Tan Heng quickly replied, "I will obey the steward's command." This old geezer is no good, Li Weiyan thought, his mind in turmoil. I am stuck with Tan Heng right from the start. I have no idea what their relationship is. As he was hesitating, Kadaim asked him directly, "And what about you? Do you want to be Guard Tan's disciple or enter the inner court?" Li Weiyan quickly bowed his head and replied, "I wish to enter the inner court." After some thought, Duong Dong made a decision. "Then I will have senior brother Nahak deliver the cultivation manual to your residence. In 7 days. I will personally test you." Li Weiyan bowed obediently. "Thank you, Master." Realizing time was short, Duong Dong quickly turned and ordered, "Good. The rest of you, continue the assessment. Li Yuan, go get your innate potential checked first." Standing behind him, Li Weiyan nodded and replied, "Understood." As Duong Dong walked away, Tan Heng slowly raised his head, a strange look in his eyes as he watched him go. As time passed and evening fell, the muscular blacksmiths in the forge were still tirelessly hammering away at weapons. After examining Li Yuan's hands, the elder smiled in praise. "Not bad. Below average," Li Weiyan thought to himself. This old man's strength is incredible. Hearing the praise for Li Yuan's ability, Nu Kuai breathed a sigh of relief. "Good. It is only below average." Curious, Li Weiyan asked, "Sir, how is this potential judged? What is considered good, and what is bad?" The elder took a sip of tea and calmly explained, "A person's constitution is like a horse's. It is all based on the observational experience of our ancestors." After a moment's thought, the elder proposed, "Good. Want to join our forge? Forging iron is the fastest way to improve the white ape flying peak mace." Li Yuan laughed and replied, "I would like to check out the warehouse first before I decide. Is that all right?" In his mind, he thought, "The master armament registry is buzzing. There must be some good stuff in the warehouse. If I join the forge, buying materials will be cheaper too." Hearing Li Yuan's refusal, the elder sighed. "If you have made up your mind, then I suppose I can let you have a look. Come on. I will help you pick out a mace that suits you." Seeing the elder and Li Yuan leave, Nu Kuai trembled with rage. "So what if you are number 1? Your potential is still worse than mine. As long as I train hard, I will definitely surpass you." The elder approached, and the guards were surprised. "Old Zhang," he ordered, "take this kid to pick out a good mace. Register it for him. His name is Li Yan." The subordinates nodded. "Understood." The massive gate slowly creaked open, admitting the 2 of them. Li Yuan was surprised by the guard's attitude. The reaction from the master armament registry is intense. Old Zhang reminded him. "Follow me." Li Yuan quickly followed. "Yep, sir." Stepping into the vast space, Old Zhang explained, "That is the Butch Thakui saber, and this is the Thankan sword. The 2 most famous weapons from our forge in Zhejiang Prefecture." Li Yuan smiled. "There must be graded weapons here, and not just one." While he was admiring the collection, Old Zhang gently explained, "This Bitch and Gek saber was forged by the old master back in the day. There are only a few left now. This blade is incredibly sharp. If you are not careful, you will lose a finger." Then, the old man pulled a strange sword from a large cabinet. Before Li Yuan could understand what was happening, Old Zhang sliced his fingertip on the blade. A few drops of blood fell. A fine blade. While Li Ayan was still bewildered, old Zhang smiled and explained. Do you understand what makes a fine blade? The best weapon handlers in this world are not swordsmen or saber masters, but blacksmiths like us. Every inch of the pattern on this blade was forged by me. The system displayed a new notification. Bichinik Saber. Grade 1. Forged by a determined blacksmith using 100 refined mixed steel and cold iron. Creating a weapon so sharp it can slice a falling hair and kill without a trace of blood. It is considered a formidable weapon. Usage requirement. An experienced blacksmith who has reached the minor accomplishment stage in any saber technique. Usage effect. Mastery of saber techniques unleashes sharp energy waves and enhances introductory forging skills. Li Yuan stared at the sword before him, his heart filled with astonishment. A white, grade 1 sword with 3 different effects. It really makes me want to use it right now. After putting the sword away, old Zhang turned to him, his voice full of confidence. With your talent, if you study under me, you will be forging weapons like this in no time. Li Yuan asked in surprise. Old Zhang, where's that mace you mentioned? As if suddenly remembering, old Zhang pointed ahead. Over there. The more he thought about it, the more confused Li Ayan became. Did you just lead me on a tour of the warehouse, just to show off that Butch Enjik saber? Old Zhang then urged him. Go on. Pick one. While Li Ayan was intently studying the giant maces, old Zhang spoke, as if unintentionally on purpose. Some of these maces are newly forged, and some were left behind by former apprentices. One of them is mine. If you happen to choose it, I will give it to you. Li Yuan picked up a mace and immediately knew. This is the one. What luck. A grade 2 mace. 4 different effects. The system also displayed detailed information. Grandmaster's mace. Grade 2. Tempered by fire for many years. Hammered against 10,000 types of iron. It started as ordinary iron but gradually developed a spiritual quality. Usage requirement. Reached the minor accomplishment stage in forging. Usage effects. White Ape Flying Peak Mace technique reaches perfection level. Mastery of 100 weapon types. Forging technique reaches grand perfection level. An innate talent with weapons. While Li Yuan was celebrating, old Zhang's eyes filled with suspicion. How did you manage to pick that one? Li Yuan explained nervously. It just felt right. After weighing it and seeing it fit my hand, I chose. Don't tell me this is your mace. What a coincidence. Old Zhang burst out laughing. Yep. What a coincidence indeed. Perhaps there is some fate between us. Out of all these maces, you picked this exact one. Fate is a strange thing. Seizing the opportunity, Li Yuan quickly bowed. If we are so fated, and if you do not mind, this humble student is willing to learn the art of forging from you. Old Zhang looked pleased. Good. You are a smart one. From now on, what will you call me? Li Yuan's eyes lit up. You will accept me. In his heart, old Zhang had his own thoughts. Looking at this mace, old Zhang's skill is probably the highest in this entire forge. Being his disciple will help me advance quickly. Old Zhang turned to leave, not forgetting to add, since we are so fated, teaching you a thing or two is no big deal. This old man has lived for many years. It would be a waste not to pass on my skills. The more he thought, the more old Zhang saw Li Ayan as a promising student. Good talent. Sharp mind. To find a good seed like you at my age, it is truly a blessing. Li Yuan nodded, his heart filled with joy. I am honored by your high praise. Old Zhang gently helped Li Ayan up, smiling warmly. Stand up, my outstanding disciple. After following his master into the armory, Li Yuan still bowed respectfully and replied, Yep. Master. The two continued their tour of the weapon warehouse. Old Zhang walked ahead, explaining as he went. Starting this year, the forge will be expanding. Li Yuan asked in surprise. Expanding? Old Zhang then asked. Have you heard of Divine Armament Valley? Li Yuan's eyes widened. Yep. I have heard of it. He thought to himself. Not only have I heard of it, I even learned the ultimate technique. Bun Dao Du Mace. One of their 5 great secret arts. Old Zhang calmly explained. Divine Armament Valley is the great sect of Zilong Prefecture, with a legacy of over 1,000 years. Around here, they are the sky. Literally, Li Yuan could not help but be shocked. Doesn't the imperial court manage them? Old Zhang quickly clarified. The military commanders of more than 10 counties in Zilong Prefecture all come from Divine Armament Valley. Even the imperial court can't control them. All of the shop's recent activities are related to Divine Armament Valley. Li Yuan's jaw dropped. He wondered to himself. Is this even a sect anymore? Not even an emperor could be this dominant. Old Zhang paused for a moment, turned around, and continued. Next spring, Divine Armament Valley will open its gates to everyone, regardless of their background. Do you understand what I am saying? Apprentice. It was late at night when Li Ayan finally left the armory, his mind racing. Tan Heng must have known about this for a while, which is why he got Nu Kuai into the inner court. If I had delayed entering the inner court back then, I might have missed this opportunity. Therefore, before the gates open, I must upgrade the master armament registry. Just then, he ran into Sun Banzi. The fatty was holding a wild boar's head in one hand and a rooster in the other, shouting, "Yuanzi, you are back. Tonight, I am going to show you my skills." Li Wen bowed slightly, smiling brightly. "Many thanks for the feast, head chef." He felt a sense of joy. This is the first time the head chef has been so nice to me. Sun Banzi sighed, squinting at Li Wen with a smile. "Don't call me head chef anymore. Call me Sun Hao. If you would like, just call me brother Sun." Li Wen immediately ran after him, saying enthusiastically, "All right, brother Sun, let me give you a hand." While cooking, Sun Banzi chatted as he butchered the chicken. "Have you heard about Divine Armament Valley? If you can join Divine Armament Valley, it will be like a carp leaping over the Dragon Gate. If you need any help in the future, just say the word. Will absolutely not refuse." Li Wen deftly chopped scallions and said hesitantly, "Then help me find some gold and raw iron. I have the money." Sun Banzi was stunned and turned to ask, "Where did you get the money to buy gold?" Li Wen replied calmly, "I earned it, one way or another. You just need to say if you will help or not." A determined glint appeared in Sun Banzi's eyes as he nodded. "Of course I will help." A few days later, the snow had stopped, and the weather was gradually warming up. Tan Heng met Q Dai at a tavern and asked impatiently, "Brother Q, it has been days. Still no leads on that thief." Q Dai sipped his wine and replied, "The fugitive still has not been caught. The yamen is severely understaffed, so we can't do much for now. I hope you can understand, Brother Tan." Then he slammed his cup on the table. "I had 2 of my brothers guard this place for 10 days straight." Magistrate Lu was displeased about this and ordered them to return and focus on catching the fugitive. Tan Heng wondered, why not investigate Li Ayan? He also has a debtor relationship with Qin Bao, and his martial arts are good enough. He is a suspect too, is not? Q crossed his arms and explained, although Zhang Bai has not achieved inner energy, he has built up quite a network over his years of forging. Even you do not want to mess with him. How could I dare to? Don't forget, Zhang Bai was the one who repaired my foster father's dragon following saber. Just then, Q Day's guard ran in to report. A brother said someone came to the pawn shop 2 days ago to pawn some clothes. Wang, that fool from the street over, pawned a 100 liang silver note for 93 liang. But he is dead now. Tan Heng's eyes widened as he exclaimed in shock. What? Q Day chuckled grimly. This thief is damn careful. He even hired a fool to do his dirty work. Now that lead is dead and buried with him. Now that the lead is gone, I am powerless. I have already reassigned those men. My condolences, Brother Tan. Tan Heng glanced at the person behind him. And you? What have you found out? The man hesitated. Brother-in-law. That Li Ayan kid spends all day in the forge. Besides forging iron, he does not do anything else. He probably does not have the guts to do something like that. After hearing this, Tan Heng had no reason to stay any longer. He and his subordinate bowed to Q Day and prepared to leave. I shall not disturb you any further today, Brother Q. As the 2 men crossed the threshold, Q Day muttered under his breath. Tough on the outside, weak on the inside. If he does not change that gangster mentality, even if he masters inner energy, he will still just be a thug. After seeing his guests off, he sat down and poured himself a drink. Suddenly, a guard rushed in with a panicked expression. Head Constable Q. The head-chopping bladesman Wu Zhen is here again. Today he is standing in front of the Yemen, saying he wants an audience with you. Sir Q Day tilted his head back and drained his cup, his voice hoarse as he wondered aloud. Wu Zhen. Could that fugitive still be in the city? Instantly, he slammed the cup down on the table, his face turning grim. Meanwhile, at the forge, Li Wen was secretly up to something. He snuck into the forge and looked at the pile of scrap iron on the ground. He thought to himself, Sung Swan is truly a man of his word. He is a solid connection to have. Now, I can't delay any longer. Wasting no more time, Li Wen immediately channeled his spiritual energy. A stone platform with a yin-yang symbol appeared, and in the center were the weapons he had painstakingly selected. Master Arm and Host. Grade 2. Li Wen. Number of controllable weapons. A golden light shot up, illuminating the surroundings as Li Ayan cheered with excitement. Finally. Grade 2. Now I can control the Grandmaster's mace. Looking at the mace, he was a bit confused. Is this the hidden attribute of the Grade 2 promotion? It looks much more convenient. Lian smiled, his heart filled with hope. Who knows? There might be other good things in store. He then picked up the two maces. One in his hand and the other slung over his shoulder, wielding both at the same time. When he realized he could actually control both maces fluently, his eyes shone like stars, his heart overflowing with joy. Success, he thought smugly. It feels like I have been forging for decades. No wonder the difference between the grades is so massive. A moment later, Sun Banzi's voice came from outside. Yuanzi, I just got back from the inner court. My brother-in-law is very pleased with you. Did I teach you the striking arts before? Liuan rushed out. Master told senior brother Q to give me a secret manual for the striking arts. But Sun Banzi was now trembling, clutching his chest, struggling to speak, looking at you. Do not tell me you have not even started practicing. And here I was bragging that you were a once-in-a-generation genius. You better not have. Liuan scratched his head, replying awkwardly. I have learned it. I have learned it. He then said seriously to Sun Banzi. Brother. Watch this. Seeing him just starting to read the book to circulate his energy, Sun Banzi slapped him on the head and whined. The striking arts are about channeling vital energy. It is way harder than the breathing method. How are you going to learn it in time now? Sun Banzi slung his mace over his shoulder and stomped his foot repeatedly on the brick floor, shouting, No more forging today. I am going to teach you myself. Liuan stood to the side, calmly flipping through the book. Brother, do not run. Let me take a look first. This does not seem too hard. Hearing this, Sun Banzi looked at him with suspicion. Not hard. Do you have any idea what this striking art is? Do you know how long it took me to learn it back in the day? It was only 3 days. Before he could finish, Liuan powerfully kicked the mace up from the ground. He moved with fluid grace. His mace swings decisive and so unbelievably skilled it looked like he was dancing with it. Sun Banzi stood frozen, his eyes wide and jaw agape, unable to believe what he was witnessing. This? How could he learn this striking art? It took me 3 whole years. His hand went limp, and the mace fell to the ground with a thud, while he himself remained stunned. Watching Liuan perform the technique, Sun Banzi was completely rigid, sweat pouring down his face, his heart filled with silent praise for Liuan. I have seen plenty of people with good potential and high talent, but this kid's talent is just out of this world. At this thought, he felt a wave of inadequacy. Muttering, My 30 years of hard training can't even compare to a few months of yours. We both have below average potential. So why is the gap in our talent so huge? Liuan walked over and gently patted Sun Banzi's shoulder, saying cheerfully, Although I have mastered the external 3 harmonies, I still need the head chef's guidance for the internal 3 harmonies. Hearing this, Sun Banzi's face twisted in disbelief. He leaned in close and asked, You have already touched upon the internal 3 harmonies. You monster, an absolute monster. Liuan quickly avoided his scrutinizing gaze, covering his mouth and whispering, Ooh, I think I said too much. Just then, Tan Heng's cold voice suddenly cut in. Liuan, come here for a moment. Hearing that tone, Liuan knew something was wrong. Sun Banzi saw him hesitating and urged him. Go on. Liuan could only pout, reply with a yes, sir, and follow Tan Heng. The two walked deep into the courtyard. As soon as he entered, Liuan saw a group of men holding heavy weapons, struggling in their stances, each one panting and trembling. He glanced to a corner where 2 men were, one standing respectfully while the other sat on a wooden chair, chatting. Seeing the unfamiliar figure, Liuan could not help but wonder, who is that talking to the second steward? The white-haired man standing respectfully was none other than the head-chopping bladesman, Wu Zhen. Tan Heng walked over and bowed reverently. The second steward beside him did the same, but his expression was slightly displeased. This old geezer never shows his face in the inner court. Why did I have to run into him today? Dong Dong turned to Wu Zhen, unable to resist asking. Shouldn't the head-chopping bladesman be out catching imperial criminals, instead of running to my forge? Hearing this title, the 2 people opposite him flinched. The head-chopping bladesman, the legendary bounty hunter. Wu Zhen smiled faintly and replied honestly. I just came here to ask this young brother a few questions. Liuan glanced over, guessing to himself, looking for me. Then it must be related to the Liao shoes. Dong Dong's face was blank, but his words carried a clear tone of accusation, making even Tan Heng jump. The head-chopping bladesman is not an official, barging in here like this. Does he have any respect for our forge? The north wind blew over the snow-covered courtyard roof. Wu Zhen looked at Liuan, a meaningful smile still playing on his lips. He clasped his hands in a formal bow, his attitude more respectful. Brother Dong, you have misunderstood. I had no such intention. I just happened to run into Guard Tan at the gate, and after hearing his suggestion, I had him bring me here. Tan Heng, standing beside him, also bowed slightly and added, Brother Wu is here hunting a fugitive. Since our weapons forge is in this city, we should help each other out. I hope Elder Dong will not blame us. After hearing this, Dongdong coolly uttered a single phrase. So that is how it is. Then he turned to Lian and asked, Did you hear that? Liuan respectfully replied, This disciple understands. Liuan turned, clasped his hands, and asked politely, I wonder what the great hero wishes to ask. Wu Jin smiled lightly, not hiding his purpose. I would not dare call myself a great hero. Half a year ago, I posted a notice in Zilong Prefecture for the capture of the lone bandit, Ningju. After chasing him to Galliu, I lost his trail. For the 3 months before the new year, I scoured the nearby towns and villages. So I am certain he is still hiding in Galliu County. If he did not flee to Fakyu Mountain or Lake Butch Thi after the murder, he should still be in the city now. When he mentioned the man's name, Wu Zun's voice became cold and menacing. Ningju hails from the Tanjin Cave, a heretical sect. He is currently wandering around here, even putting the Masters of Divine Armament Valley on high alert. If we do not catch him, I am afraid he will cause even more disasters. Little brother, as far as I know, you were the last person to see Ningju's victim. Did you buy anything from his stall? Lian recalled the person Wu Zun mentioned and answered truthfully without hiding anything. Lu San. Reporting to the young hero, the day before Lu San was killed, I did indeed buy spices from his stall. But it was only spices. Seeing Lian bow with every word, Wu Zun quickly reached out to stop him. Little brother, there is no need to be so formal. When Wu Zhen touched him, Liuan suddenly felt dizzy and lightheaded, his body swaying unsteadily. This is hypnosis. At that moment, Liuan's face went blank. But his mind was screaming, this guy looks friendly, but his heart is black. I bet he made his move before even asking the first question. This is dangerous. Wu Zhen began his interrogation. Really? You only bought spices? Liuan scratched his head and answered honestly, and half a caddy of pork. Seeing this, Dongdong immediately became furious, his eyebrows knitting as he roared. Wu Zhen. Wu Zhen instantly stopped the hypnosis. Liuan snapped back to his senses, asking blankly, Whoa. What? What just happened to me? Dongdong suddenly charged at Wu Zhen with his spear. Wu Zhen hastily retreated, dodging the blow, then swung his saber in a counterattack. The clash of metal rang out sharply. Wu Zhen was pushed back, forced to plant his feet firmly to keep his balance. Realizing he was at a disadvantage, Wu Zhen cupped his fist and bowed his head in defeat. Good fist. Good spear. Liuan looked towards him, wondering, so this is inner energy. Wu Zhen looked up and exclaimed, The green serpent spear is truly magnificent. Dongdong returned and said calmly, The 5 Venoms Jade Saber. Your reputation is well deserved. I was indeed rude. I apologize. Capturing the fugitive is a matter of great importance. I hope Brother Duong can forgive me. He then turned to leave. Tan Hung took a step forward, about to say something. Elder Duong, but Duongdong gave him no chance. He turned back towards the mansion, instructing as he walked. Yunjin. Liuan. Inside. The rest of you. Dismiss. Behind him. Whispers erupted. 5 Venoms Jade Saber. My ass. He could not even take one hit. The green serpent spear is the real deal. Master is too awesome. That guy is the head-chopping bladesman. Great hero. Paf. I spit on that. Entering the mansion, Yunjin asked worriedly, Master, are you alright? Dongdong looked at his trembling hand and sighed. The 5 Venoms Jade Saber. More like the 5 venomous parasites. My whole body is poisoned. I almost lost my life. The poison is combining with my inner energy, which can push it out. But it will take 2 to 3 months to fully recover. The poison was visible as green veins on his palm, looking like they were about to burst. Suddenly, Duongdong clenched his fist, shattering the layer of poison. Yunjin asked. Puzzled, Wu Zhen was already planning to leave. Why did you have to do that? As drops of poison fell, Dongdong's eyes turned red with hatred. If he had just walked away like that, even in death, I would have no face to meet our ancestors in the underworld. In this world, sometimes you have to run fast. Sometimes you have to walk. And sometimes you have no choice but to retreat. Remember what happened today. One day, you will face it yourself. Liuan nodded seriously. Disciple will remember. He thought to himself. If I had not stood firm just now and revealed the Bin and Du Shamace technique, forget Wu Zhen. Even Divine Armament Valley would have killed me. Yunjin asked again. Master, what martial art was Wu Zhen using? It looked very strange. Dongdong sighed. That was the soul bewitching art. Calling it a martial art is a bit of a stretch. In reality, it is a specially made hallucinogen, colorless and odorless. Very hard to defend against, but if your mind is strong, you won't fall for it. He glanced at Lian, making him feel awkward. With your background, you have tasted plenty of hardship. Why is your mental fortitude so weak? You have disappointed me. After saying this, he sat down to cultivate and ordered. That is enough. You may all go rest at the fort. Old Zhang picked up the sword Li Ian had forged and evaluated it. Not bad. It has 3/10 the quality of a true weapon. The only difference is the material. He chuckled to himself. It was worth sending Tan Heng away. Meanwhile, Liu Yin and Sun Banzi were training with axes. Liu Yin was surprised. Tan Heng was sent to sweep the courtyard as punishment. Sun Banzi laughed. Yeah. The Grand Steward came back yesterday, heard about the Wu Zhen incident, and gave Tan Heng a good scolding before sending him off. He lifted his axe, hopping around. Anyone else would have gotten more than just being sent away. Liu Yin changed the subject. Are you going to the Galio temple tomorrow? Sun Banzi panicked, leaning on his axe handle. Nope. I have to train. You are improving too fast. My brother-in-law already chewed me out for it. Liu Yin laughed loudly and waved. All right. You keep training then. I am going back to clean up and take a bath. Inside his room, Liu Yin shut the door tightly and quickly pulled out a gleaming sword. The system displayed its information. Bichenic Saber. Grade 1. The first sharp longsword forged by the master armament host. Control condition. None. Control effect. Water repellent. Liu Yin stroked the blade and sighed. It is not as good as the Bichenic sabers my master left behind. The difference in forging skill is just too great. Sitting down on his bed, he thought, there is still so much to learn. My forging skills must improve, and I can't neglect the douche mace. Supreme martial arts are truly hard to master. The last 2 transformations of the douche mace are real pain. He pursed his lips, feeling frustrated. But I have grasped the first killing move. Bing Ji. I wonder if I can challenge Tan Heng now. I really want to try. Night fell, and the streets were bright with lanterns, bustling with people. Liu Yin blended into the crowd, walking with excitement. The master armament registry is vibrating intensely. There are so many good weapons on this street that I want to own. Just then, a group of burly men carrying a large, cloth-covered statue passed by, forcing everyone to part to the sides. Liu Yin stood in the back, looking up. What a grand display, he thought. If only I could snatch the treasure on that divine altar and throw it into the master armament registry. The people on both sides of the road knelt and kowtowed, praying, may the Bodhisattva protect our Galio County. Favorable rains and winds. Abundant harvests. The devout men and women bowed respectfully. They jostled to stuff coins into the wooden box carried by the man leading the procession. Liu Yin muttered curiously. Which Bodhisattva is that? The cloth cover was blown away by the wind, and the sparkling light from the statue blinded him. The Bodhisattva was carved with countless eyes, sending a shiver down Liu Yin's spine. No wonder they call it the 1,000-hand Bodhisattva. I have trypophobia. The system displayed information. Stone statue of the 1,000-eye Bodhisattva. Grade 2. Created from azure crystal stone and spiritual mud. It has gradually gained life through the worship of the people. The spiritual mud under the statue's eyes can transform into blood pills. Usage condition. First level of the divine worship technique. Control effect. Introductory divine worship art. First level. Effect. Mental disturbance. Liu Yin was shocked. Grade 2. A divine statue also counts as a weapon. That is a bit heretical. He pouted and turned away. It is eye-catching, but this is probably deep water. Better to just let it go. Liu Yin strolled past the weapon stalls, his eyes quickly scanning each item, whether it was the things he saw firsthand or those carried by passersby. They were all too ordinary. All grade 1. It makes sense. Though, grade 2 weapons are expensive. How could a normal person afford one? Then he stopped in front of a newly posted notice. The portrait of Ningju was clearly visible, along with a wanted poster. His bounty went up *that high. He wondered. A moment later, Liu Yin merged with the crowd heading toward a shrine. He glanced forward, his lips murmuring, the Earth Treasury Shrine. Just then, a procession carrying a statue of the deity paraded by. Liu Yin suddenly wondered, could this statue be a weapon too? The system immediately displayed its information. Earth Treasury Divine Statue Tier 2. Created by a master artisan from Crimson Treasury Stone and Secret Red Sand. After years of worship, the statue gradually developed a spiritual consciousness. Crimson Treasury Stone can be used to forge weapons, while Secret Red Sand is used for alchemy. Usage requirement. Missing a hand. Effects. Enthrall minds. Calm the spirit. Earth Treasury Heart Sutra First Level. Liu Yin stood still, his eyes following the procession, thinking to himself, another Tier 2 item. Suddenly, a question flashed in his mind. Could all the other statues be like this? Is someone nurturing them. An ordinary wealthy family could not possibly afford this. It could only be the work of the ultra-rich. Or the imperial court. Just then, an old man with a white beard and hair, his eyes blindfolded, bumped right into him and asked, "Young brother, care for a fortune reading?" Lewin smirked, thinking, a fellow practitioner. He clasped his hands and replied, "Let me guess. Your next line is that I am about to face a bloody disaster. Right, you grave robbers sure have a diverse line of work. As expected of the Forge's top talent. You are a sharp judge of character." He shot back. "You guys have been tailing me for a while now, have not you?" Immediately, the old man's cronies moved in to surround him. The blind old man bowed slightly and introduced himself. "I am Zhang Fangyuan, a grave robber from the Crouching Dragon Mansion. As are these men. Tailing is not quite the right word. We just wanted to gather some information. For over half a year, we have chased him for thousands of miles. It has not been easy. So I hope you can understand." "Young brother." Lewin played dumb, replying, "This Nianjuga. I do not even know what he looks like. If you are trying to get information from me, I am afraid you have got the wrong person." One of the men spoke up. "Young brother. We want to know what exactly Q Day and Yu Zhen asked you when they were looking for him." He answered truthfully. "Nianju only appeared twice in the city. Once to kill Liu Jili, his neighbor, and a small incense stall owner." The musclehead next to him lost his patience and yelled, "Boss, why are you wasting your breath on him? I say we make him bleed a little. This punk will start talking then." The blind man just calmly said. Yu Zhen asked him, "There is no mistake. It is just that." "Young brother, you were right about one thing." With that, they turned and left immediately. Before leaving, the blind man warned him, "A bloody disaster is definitely coming for you. Be careful." They faded into the crowd, leaving him standing there. Lewin wondered, is this about that tattered shoe? That night, during a heavy downpour, he secretly stuffed a rock into the tattered shoe he would found and threw it right over the walls of the magistrate's office. "You guys want it so bad? Then here. You can have it," a voice screamed out. "Who the hell dares to throw rocks at me?" But they soon discovered it was just a tattered shoe, while Lewin had already slipped away. He calculated his next move. Nianju is a hidden threat. I can't just hope he gets killed during the manhunt. First, I will cultivate to the great completion stage. Then master the sun merging technique and achieve internal energy. If I can hold out until I join the Divine Weapon Valley, all these hidden dangers will be nothing. He was filled with determination. I have to get stronger. Back at the magistrate's office, someone brought the tattered shoe and reported, "Chief Constable Q. This is a top grade 6 harmony shoe. It looks like it is from the Crouching Dragon Mansion. And what is more, there is something under the sole." They carefully examined the bottom of the shoe and found a note attached. "This tattered shoe is all you need to lure out Nianju." This left Chief Constable Q stunned. But he could not help but think, damn. Who the hell has handwriting this bad? That thief's technique is incredibly precise. To hit me in the back of the neck from outside the wall, through a curtain of rain. He is no ordinary person. But a single shoe. How could that possibly lure out Nianju? Could it be? He quickly flipped the shoe sole over. But there was nothing there. Then he began to reason. 6 harmony shoes are known for being extremely durable. They are made of 6 layers stitched into one. You can't just be missing a layer. It is possible there was a paper hidden in the sole that the thief already took. Another constable guessed. Could that be why Nianju has been refusing to leave the city? For whatever was in that shoe, the thief threw the shoe right at our heads. He is probably trying to use us to get rid of his problem. Still, once we catch Nianju, what is to stop us from finding out who this thief is? I am gonna have to smash his head in just to get my dignity back. The next day, amidst the bustling market, people were whispering to each other. Did you hear about the thief who broke into the magistrate's office last night? What was he trying to steal? My cousin who works as a runner there told me. The thief did not steal any treasures or money. He came to deliver evidence. They say it was a tattered 6 harmony shoe that Chief Constable Q had found somewhere. The moment Nianju overheard this, his eyes filled with killing intent. His target was now Q Da. Meanwhile, back at the forge, the elder had brought Chief Constable Q to make an announcement to the disciples. Today, the Chief Constable is here to recruit men to hunt down the heavily injured Nianju. Whoever is willing to go will receive 1 silver tael. Whether you catch him or not, if you succeed, each person gets 3 taels, half from the government, half from the forge. Some of them grumbled to themselves. Only 3 silver taels to risk our lives. That is not even enough to cover our funeral expenses. The Chief Constable spoke up. The magistrate has ordered that every major house must send at least 10 men. The elder immediately gave the order. Yun Sun, You will lead Wu Ming, Liu Shen, and Tang Ding. He then turned to Li Yan. You are going too. What is the point of staying cooped up for months on end? Liuan shouted.
Yep, sir.
He was itching for a fight anyway. With his business done, the chief constable cupped his fist in farewell. Third shopkeeper. I must go recruit from other houses. I will take my leave. At that moment, the third shopkeeper saw that everyone below was silent, causing him to roar. What is wrong? None of you want to go. Yun-sun cupped his hands and said, Master, it is no problem for the rest of us. But junior brother Li has only been learning martial arts for 7 or 8 months. Isn't it too soon for him to go out and gain real-world experience? The third shopkeeper's face darkened as he lectured the group. What is too soon? What is it too late? Later. When you are out in the world. Do you think your enemies will spare your life just because you are too new? Practicing martial arts is not just about training hard in seclusion and fighting skills. You can't reach great completion just by sparring with wooden dummies. To practice martial arts, you need guts. He suddenly roared, startling everyone. That lunatic Nian Ju failed his ambush on Q-Da and got his heart and lungs pierced in a single blow. Even if he was lucky enough to survive that, he is nothing more than a dying tiger. And with us leading the charge. What are you afraid of? Then, he quietly reminded Qin Yun. Remember to look after Li Ai. Your junior brother has only just begun his training. So take good care of him. Afterward, they went to the armory to choose their weapons. He picked up a golden mace, a long-handled, Tier 1 weapon, forged from a gold-copper alloy. It is massive and heavy. Usage requirement. Mace and axe arts. Lesser completion stage. Effects. Rooted stance. Immense power and weight. Capable of shattering heavy armor. He thought, this feels very different from a forging hammer. But it is perfect for the way of the weapon. Axe and mace slaughter arts. After choosing their weapons, they were ready to set out and Faxu. Kunyun led the group, reminding everyone, don't be reckless. Do not wander off too far. And make sure we are out of here before nightfall. And someone needs to stay behind to watch the master's horses. The group split up to search but found no trace of Nian Ju. They had to sweep these small mountains before dark. Suddenly, the sounds of a fierce battle erupted ahead. He thought, did they find him that quickly? By now, Nianju had already killed many people. Their bodies strewn about, but he was also gravely injured. With one arm slashed, he collapsed to his knees in exhaustion. Though he would broken through the encirclement, he did not forget to curse. Yu Zhen, Hugh Long, and that damn constable. I swear I will kill you all. The moment he finished speaking, several more men rushed in to hunt him down, shouting, he is over here. There is a huge reward for his capture. But all that followed were blood-curdling screams. Hearing this, Liuan's group panicked. Kun Young commanded, everyone, scatter and find cover. Protect yourselves. And with that, it was every man for himself. He quickly ducked behind a large tree. Moments later, he heard more sickening thuds and squelches clearly. More people had died. He thought, with Nianju's methods, these guys still had time to send a signal. It means he really is severely injured. This could be my chance. But no, caution comes first. Luan carefully crept into a dense bush. Right in front of him lay a corpse. He suddenly dropped flat to the ground, sensing someone approaching. Turns out, some guy was using the chaos to loot the corpse. But before he could act, a fat old man rushed in and punched him so hard his face caved in. He immediately recognized him was not that the grave robber he would met a few days ago. After collecting his loot, the old man chuckled. Not a bad all this time. Suddenly, the man charged straight towards him as if he would sensed him, only to get a mace right to the face from Li Ayan, sending him crashing to the ground. Luan snatched his money pouch, stomped on his head, and bolted before the guy even knew who hit him, leaving him clutching his head and screaming in pain. That was more thrilling than a dog snatching over 20 silver taels. He estimated, making money like this is way faster than slaving away at the forge. Plus, I even used a talisman, boosted by the power of my great elephant axe and scythe arts. Even in a direct fight, I was confident I could take him down. If an ambush like that failed, there'd be no justice in this world. Last time, you threatened me with a blade. Today, this young master gets his revenge. He quickly stashed the money pouch. Now, it is time to deal with Nianju. By now, Nianju was covered in wounds, but his mouth was still tough as nails. I won't accept this. I will kill every last one of you. Someone ordered a group of henchmen. Quick. Pursue him in that direction. As they ran off, only one person was left behind. The poor guy had no idea danger was closing in. With blood-red eyes, Nianju dropped down from a tree above. And in the blink of an eye, The man's life was extinguished. Surprisingly, a masked figure nearby spoke up. Completely unfazed. The horizontal training of the Twin Heaven Cauldron is truly impressive. To be injured this badly and still have the strength to struggle. He walked closer, mocking him. A shame. Your technique is good, but you are a total waste. If I had not covered for you, Q Long would have killed you long ago, Nianju retorted irritably. So you are the one who lured Q Long's group away earlier. You are wearing a mask. Do we know each other? Are you from Galliao County? So there is a mole in the magistrate's office. The man whispered mysteriously. I helped you this time. You will have to repay me later. Remember that. He moved like lightning, ready to leave. You should go. I will take care of Q Long. He casually tossed Nianju a vial of healing medicine, leaving him confused. How exactly do you want me to repay this debt? But the man had already vanished, leaving only his voice behind. I will find you again later. Nianju began to speculate. There are many internal energy martial artists in Galliao County, but only 2 at the internal fortification stage, Kaoyan, or a grave robber from somewhere else. When he opened the medicine vial, he found a top-grade origin replenishing pill. At that moment, his killing intent surged. He no longer wanted to leave. He wanted to slaughter everyone who had hunted him. A moment later, the agonizing screams of a group of men being sent flying filled the air. Arv. He is. Even the blind grave robber was slammed into a tree, coughing up blood as he collapsed to the ground. Nianju slowly approached them. You thought you could catch me with a bunch of trash like you? From a distance, Liu Yin secretly watched, amazed at how strong he was even when heavily injured. He watched as Nianju pulled a knife from his chest, and the wound healed with ease. This shocked him. This guy's cultivation technique is terrifying. But Nianju seemed to have spotted him, shouting, You little rat from the forge. Get out here. At this point, Liu Yin had no choice but to act, swinging his mace straight at him. But he could not land a hit. Nianju was shocked, recognizing it instantly. Silver Ape Mace Arts. At the great completion stage. He scoffed. You have not even cultivated internal energy. And you dare to attack me. You are asking for death. Liu Yin unleashed a flurry of blows. But Nianju blocked every one. He then threw a punch straight at the mace, only for his own arm to snap instantly. He quickly leaped onto Li Yin, trying to lock him down, but in a flash, Li Yin escaped and reappeared behind him. The massive mace was summoned, and with one final smash, sent him straight to the afterlife. And here I thought you were something special. Just another chicken daring to crow at me. And that is the end of part 1 of this story. Don't forget to hit that like button for channel.